unapologetically.
The entire purpose of affirmative action set-asides civil rights laws that limit constitutional rights to freedom of contract, freedom of association. All of that was to make up for the legacy of slavery and Jim Crow. So unless these benefits are going to, roughly define foundational Black Americans, the descendants of American slaves, you've taken away the whole purpose of this. So to make the point that Kamala isn't a foundational Black American, I'm always pointing to unless these benefits are going to, roughly define foundational Black Americans, the descendants of American slaves.
African Americans built this nation. We built this nation. You're just starting to get real credit for that. Okay, I don't know if you know that. You're just starting to you built the nation. We all built it, but you were such a massive part of it. Bigger than you were given credit for. Does that make sense?
The reality is that cutting people checks rarely makes them more successful from the government. What usually makes people more successful is a determined attempt to become the things that the meritocracy demands of you. Right? So there were no long scale.
The U.S. foreign assistance.
That show me subscribe.
Make no mistake, we're the only black people in y'all that only eat rat, eat cat people. You ain't black, you ain't that. Matter of fact, your black is repo, I'm taking it back. Cause y'all making it whack, faking jacks y'all from the slave, raiding the tax. Bitch. We built the foundation, our innovations were groundbreaking. You ain't wanna get down, now you around, hating, faking, with the linear in and out, the ground shaking. Someone say FBI, we don't run away. We stay, we slay, we pray, we say. Someone say FBI, we don't run away. We stay, we slay, we pray, we say. Make no mistake, we're the only black people, and y'all the only eat rat, eat cat people. You ain't black, you ain't that. Matter of fact, yo, black is repo, I'm taking it back. Cause y'all making it whack, faking jacks y'all from the slave, raiding the tax. Breaks, pause, pause. We built the foundation of innovations, we're groundbreaking. Y'all ain't wanna get down, now you around, hating, faking, whittling and eating, now the ground shaking. Someone say, FBA, we don't run away. We stay, we slay, we pray, we say. Someone say, FBA, we don't run away. We stay, we slay, we pray, we say.
All right, family. Yeah, I got the link. All right, Chicago FBA. I will definitely analyze that. Take a look at it. I already got it saved in my playlist, so I will watch it most likely after this live stream sometimes tonight or tomorrow morning. Now, last night live, I did tell people because I was going to bed so early that I might do it late, no, early live, and I did wake up at 3:55 a.m. By the way, I just went back to sleep. So I just said, I said, let me just lay back down for a few minutes. That few minutes turned to eight something in the morning. Okay, so let me do a little roll call. Shout out the chat. Shout out the lineage and the supporters. Okay, where we are. Okay, so in the building we have, come on, load up. Gotta definitely invest in a better laptop. Renaissance Woman, Carlos Magus, Dr. Native Son, I'm gonna time you up. This ain't the live for that weirdo. Okay, so Pinky Wells in the building. I am 6. Really? So he came on. Wow. Okay, so he be on 3 a.m. All right. I'll check him out when I wake up that early. Songbird, The Ancestors, I Am Sixth, Pinky Wells, Renaissance Woman, Carlos Magus, FBA Chicago, RA Chicago, FBA, Damon Reeves, Mesha, Nita White. We have Celita Marie, I Am Kiera, Claus and Dan, the ancestors, and I think Satch, Ohio. Almost missed your name. Dale Mac Ilwain, fresh always in the building. Back up in here, checking us out, seeing what we doing. Smoke one. Lord Jamar was cooning hard. Yeah, I'll be trying to give Lamar Lord Jamar a pass, but he gonna make me do it, man. I'm trying to give him a pass because a lot of y'all don't know I exposed him already. Okay, but he been like kind of on cold lately, so I've been letting him live. But I might have to do a third edition expose on Lord Jamar if he keeps it up. Lord, Lord, Lord. Okay, so let's get into it. Let's get into it. Let's get into it. So, Ben Shapiro has been making headlines for his Breakfast Club interview commentary. Okay, his statements. Um, Normally when they get on there and talk, they usually say a lot of packed stuff that deserves unpacking. Tariq Nasheed always say, "All right, let's unpack this," because they usually send a package worth of babble. Anyway, he touched on DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion. I'm surprised they didn't bring up CRT because I would have loved to hear his rejection on that. They brought up reparations, meritocracy, Jewish reparations, and the U.S. aid to Israel. If you catch me pausing as I read, that's because I feel a cough coming on. I feel a cough, and I don't want to be in the microphone with the cough. Let me just get some of this lineage water. Hold on. Yeah. Weather crazy out here. All right. So yeah, so US aid to Israel, all that type of stuff. So in the words of Tariq Nasheed, we're gonna unpack it. All right. Chat, we good. Chad Smith is in the building. Who else came in here while I was going in? Okay. Matter of fact, let me set my iPad up so I can read the chat. Hold on, family. Let me set the iPad up so I can read the chat on a separate device. Hold on. All right, all right. Here we are. Let me get in the chat with this iPad, and we're gonna chop it up. We got another wonderful secret. Should we should we learn more about the suspect before blaming every Democrat? The suspect in Butler ended up being a oh yeah, well, another wonderful secret. You're on the wrong channel because we don't be party banging over here. You dig? My channel is called FBA News and Updates, not speculation or rumors. You dig? This ain't the shade room. I take information seriously. So I'm gonna do what you just said. I'm gonna wait for an update. Okay. Yeah, we don't be projecting like most people. Shoot, I messed up. Give me 1 second. I'm almost set up. Okay. Matter of fact, we're not even talking about that right now. Where you come from with that? Mm. Yeah, we ain't even talking about that right now. What are you talking about? Yeah, you could tell she came in here trolling. Another, whoever it is, another wonderful secret. You could tell they came in here trolling because we ain't even, we talking about Shapiro. What are you talking about? Hey, Tony QMM, peace. My audio's choppy. Let me see. Yeah, we ain't even talking about that right now. What are you talking about? She came in here trolling. Another, whoever it is, another one. You could tell came in here trolling because we ain't even, we talking about Shapiro. It looks like my audio's good. Show enough. Yeah, ready to troll. We ain't even talking about that right now. We talking about Shapiro's statements on reparations. Right? Blackmatic in the building. Yeah. You jumping the gun. Okay. Anyway, Ben Shapiro's position on DEI and systemic help. Quote, he said, when things have been done systemically to all people to keep them down. Actually, this was a Charlemagne quote. Charlemagne said, he said this to Ben Shapiro. He said, when things have been down, when things been done, let me get my glasses. Let me stop playing shy. All right. Donnie Ray Ray, peace. Okay, so let's get it. Okay. So Charlemagne said, when things have been done systemically to a people to keep them down, some things have to be done systemically to actually lift them up. Now, that would be common sense, right? You would think that's common sense. Okay. So Ben Shapiro likes he dislikes DEI as it is currently implemented because he views it as, in his words, a zero sum. Someone less qualified gets a job instead of someone more qualified, which he thinks harms overall economic productivity. Interesting. So he assumes, right? This is flaw in the framing because he assumes that most qualified candidates is chosen in a pure meritocracy, but he ignores that hiring processes have historically been biased against Black candidates, resume discrimination, interview bias, network exclusion. So DEI is meant to correct that distortion, not simply hand out unearned jobs. So it almost appear that these folks get on there to like debate unqualified people like Envy and what's the little girl name that try to replace Messy Jesse? Then we got Charlemagne and DJ Envy. Like these guys are not really qualified to handle these type of discussions, so they get cooked when Larry Elder come on there. Ben Shapiro is almost like a stage for them to look very well against unqualified people to talk about these things. They talked about pro-life, pro-choice, and what's the lady name? Like she didn't know she didn't know who Ben Shapiro was, evidently. So when she tried to get in that argument, like he cooked the hell out of her. It wasn't even close. And she like appealed to emotions, basically. Yeah, so it's almost like they purposely stage these Republican conservatives versus Charlemagne, Envy, and whoever else is on there in front of like millions of people. Watch them get cooked. Now these racist tropes got some merit behind them. You feel me? Got some legs behind them. That's what it kind of feel like to me. Which I think. What it seemed like to me. Because like wasn't Candace Owens on there as well? But then they'll give like Damon Dash a hard time. Um Way more argumentative pushback. So when it comes to reparations, right? When they talked about that, Ben Shapiro said, if you're in 1968, 1970, and you're talking about what can we do to rectify the problems of Jim Crow, this is a quote, and make it right, that's a really live and interesting conversation. So what he's actually saying is reparations might have been fair immediately after Jim Crow, but now 2025, it's too late. Now this is a Jewish person talking like this. So he ignores that the effects of those policies, redlining, housing, discrimination, wealth stripping, school segregation, are all measurable today. You still can measure them. And wealth gaps, incarceration rates, and education inequality. So, in other words, the harms didn't end in 1970. All right, Ben? They were compounded over many generations. Studies actually show that median black household still has about 1/8 the wealth of median white household, largely because of those earlier systemic exclusions, Ben. So timing doesn't make the obligation vanish. That's like a weak argument they like to run to. The whole, okay, well, sorry, but look what time it is. I mean, it's easy to make the argument when you pretty much control the time. Like, who was in a position to check America and say, ho, 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 let's let's get this cooking right now before it's too late, before time becomes an issue. You feel me? Like, yeah, if you're the sole controller of statute of limitations and you run the country single-handedly without pushback and under racism, yeah, I mean, of course you can wait and prolong it and say, hey, okay, 10 years. All right. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine an offender in 2025 committed a crime and then like let's say kidnapping. Or don't pronounce it. Don't pronounce it. Okay. But just imagine a kidnapper kidnapped somebody for whatever reason, right? And let's say the statute of limitations was 10 years. Imagine him letting you go in the 11th year and say, nah, statute of limitations, too late. You know, you should have said something within those 10 years. You dig? Like that's kind of what these conservatives pretty much argue from that standpoint. It's stupid. But of course, DC in the building, Claire 64. Yeah, so they kind of like, come on. Like, really? Okay, so he said cutting checks doesn't work. So he don't like our phrase, cut the check. This is his quote. He says, cutting people checks rarely makes them more successful. What usually makes people more successful is a determined attempt to become the things that the meritocracy demands of you, right? So these are get get ready for some tether coons to repeat these arguments, right? Of Ben Shapiro. And that's why I'm cooking them now. All right. Um so of course that's misleading. Right. Direct cash reparations have worked for Japanese Americans, right? They received $20,000 each in 1988 for internment and saw significant increases in economic security. Asked those Italians to give their what they I think they received $20,000 too. So in reparations. So ask the Italians to get that 20 grand back. Holocaust survivors, Ben, like Charlemagne was trying to express to you, Holocaust survivors received pensions and direct payments that improved quality of life, Ben. How about Native Hawaiians and Alaskans? They receive federal trust benefits, boosting education and business investment. So cutting checks alone won't solve structural racism. But Tariq Nasheed on many accounts said, yeah, we ain't really trying to solve racism with our reparation campaign, push, demand. Because a lot of white supremacists used to come and debate Tariq Nasheed like, well, that ain't going to end racism. See, so you need to do this, do that. Like, oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Nothing in this demand for reparations, this reparation campaign on our bullet points was to end the racism. We're gonna do that in another setting from another forum, but not during this reparations campaign. Yeah, so no, we never argued that cutting checks alone will solve structural racism, but dismissing cash payments ignores how capital accumulation is essential to building generational wealth. So you notice that none of them want us to have money in our pockets. They want the intangibles. We like, nah, we're way past that. So whatever equity thing you want to throw at us, uh, education, whether it's free or it's discounted, and this and that, we'll take that too. But you're gonna sock it to our pockets. Israelites, 1865, right? Come on, man. Tashi D in the building. Gary Williams. Yeah, they got us effed up with that one. So then Charlemagne brought up Jewish reparations, right? So here's another quote by Ben Shapiro. Okay. That is not the reason why Israel has become successful economically. Israel became successful by doing what meritocracy demands. Okay, so when it comes to Israel, that's partly true and partly misleading. So again, in order to sound smart, you gotta have some truth in there sprinkled. You can't just flat out lie like a tether white supremacist. You gotta be a Ben Shapiro supremacist and sprinkle truth in with falsehoods. Okay. You gotta be a Jared Taylor supremacist. So Israel's success actually is due to multiple factors: education investment, innovation, culture, U.S. military aid, and diaspora funding. But reparation payments were significant, Ben. West Germany paid Israel $1.5 billion in the 1950s, my bad, in the 1950s. That is equal to $17 billion today, which was used to build what? Infrastructure, railways, and energy systems. You see? So money does build something. So this infusion helped Israel stabilize its economy during its most fragile years. Ben seems to have selective memory. Okay, he dismisses the economic impact of reparations on Israel while saying Black Americans, we shouldn't work hard. We should just work harder, which is just inconsistent because that 1.5 wasn't handed to you guys because you worked harder. You didn't work at all. Okay. You were just the injured party. So we know it's a concerted effort to not sock it to our pockets. But again, that's not going to work. Okay. All that talk is dead. No pun. So, U.S. aid to Israel, right? So Ben said, because Charlemagne talked about the U.S. sending money or aiding Israel financially. And Ben said, no, the U.S. don't really send money to Israel. He said U.S. send military product to Israel that is made in the United States. It's a subsidy to the American defense industry. Okay, like I said, they got to sprinkle some truth with falsehood. or mislead you. Deception is always there. So yes, U.S. aid to Israel is largely in the form of foreign military financing (FMF), which Israel must spend on U.S. made weapons, effectively subsidizing U.S. arms manufacturers. But, when you say but, it still frees up Israel's budget for other priorities: education, healthcare, R&D, research and development. So it indirectly boosts Israel's civilian economy as well, Ben. Now, you're not going to have Charlemagne rebut like that because Ben would just walk off, the set, most likely. Because these folks come on these shows with these podcasts, these sit downs, and they be having terms and conditions. Their publicists be handing notes like, hey, don't ask this, don't ask that. You know what I mean? A little cheat note sheet, right? So now they do that. Don't get it twisted. So Ben acknowledges systemic harm but limits solutions. He's willing to say we were wrong, but only supports systemic help in the distant past. He frames meritocracy as neutral. He ignores that the system he's defending still isn't a level playing field. Okay. 1 second. One sec. Oh man, I shouldn't have done that. So it looks like they got a suspect shooter. Okay, we'll deal with that in a second. We're gonna be very, very sensitive. Okay, we're not trying to get shadow banned or blocked. We just started. We got 2,500 subscribers. And that's kudos to you guys, but in the grand scheme, that's not a lot. I didn't say 25,000. I didn't say 250,000. I didn't say 2.5, 2,500. So we just starting. So we got to be very, very, if we want to grow to 25,000, 250,000, 2.5 million, we got to be very, very sensitive and considerate and sympathetic. You dig? Empathetic. That's just the way it goes when you're on somebody else um, platform. Okay. So let me find what I'm looking for. How's the chat doing? Chat is holding it down and I see a lot of dialogue. Nito Swain in the building. Yes, anything but tangibles. And they definitely don't want to have no money to us. T1 production in the building. Peace to you. They like anything but money. Your granddaddy nurse is in the building. Okay, so give me a second. One second. Read some chest. Okay, okay, okay. Okay. Let me get back to where I was. Um, yeah, so Ben, nobody's surprised on his stance against reparations is typical to the average. right wing conservative. Of course, he'll argue that he's not. I'm thinking he'll just say he's Jewish. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was muted. Okay, yeah, in the background. Um, so just family, what I was saying, what I'm going to say is they always have an issue with when we compare. I'm talking about folks that's of the Ben Shapiro lineage, right? When they are so against reparations and we bring up Jewish reparations, they really struggle with explaining that one. So their think tanks get together and they try to figure how do we get around that? Because that's a great point from the FBAs. How are we against reparations knowing we accept the reparations and we're doing good as a result? So the think tanks like get together and try to come up with a perfect excuse. So that's why Ben Shapiro did something on the Breakfast Club I never heard before, and it could be just me, but he attempted to minimize the role of reparations in Israel's success. So I'm like, wow, yeah, good job. So we doing that now. So we're like downplaying what contributed to success. Nah, ain't nothing. Man, it's nothing. Nah, man. And he does that to like make light of it to say that that's not something that's going to save us or help us out or relieve us. And this isn't, but he could say what he want. Okay, because the historical record shows that reparations were a crucial early lifeline for Israel Jewish people. So he ignores compounding harm from, you know, you could say slavery all the way up to the end of Jim Crow to now, mass incarceration, all these other things. So they have a date in their head. That's why we always ask them once they agree that systemic racism was alive, right, at one point in America. Once they agree to that, we ask them, well, when did it end? And we were like ready to bust out laughing because we know they're going to say 1968 or somewhere close. So Pombo, he did that. So first of all, Pombo made a mistake. He's a young, goofy conservative, and he didn't know that he was supposed to admit to systemic racism being alive at one point. He said it was never alive, and we just laughed like hell. So he Googled it and whatever. He conceded, came back, called the next day, but then he started to research upon conservatives' position. So I said, good. You acknowledge it was well and alive at one point. When did it end? And you best believe he said somewhere near Shapiro, 1968, 1970. That'd be hilarious. So we mentioned uh, mass incarceration, things like that. It confused him, and he's like, "Oh shit." So we're well aware that they're going to say around 1968, 1970 is when systemic racism ended, because they're trying to say like because they signed in the FHA Fair Housing Act. They're like, yeah, that's when it ended. Okay, hold on. Anyway, so when Ben Shapiro say, because he said that he used this term throughout the interview. So when he, and I read it, so when he says, when Ben Shapiro says a pure meritocracy picks the most qualified candidate, this is what he means. Okay. A meritocracy is the idea that the best person for the job should be picked based on their skills, talent, effort, and qualifications, not based on race, gender, and connections or favoritism. So you see, like, so this is their argument against DEI and affirmative action. So he's saying, you know, it's back to education. Like we know systemic racism played a part in denying, depriving, rejecting all these things. But now we're at a post Jim Crow era now. You dig? So everybody got the equal chance of education and blah 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 blah. And the best man, made the best woman wins. So that's what he mean by meritocracy. But but when he pushes meritocracy and other conservatives push that because they're going to push that, they're assuming that everyone is starting from the same place. You got to assume that everyone had equal access to opportunities like great schools, safe neighborhoods, internships, networks, loans, housing, ownership, and that no one faced discrimination or barriers along the way. You got to assume that to believe in meritocracy. But I mean, are we going to argue that? But they will. They'll try. So what they would so by doing that, they're calling a fair race if one person started a mile behind and had hurdles in their lane while others ran on a clear track, like things like that. They'll say, no, that's a fair race. But that's how much they think of us as far as greatness. They believe they need that large head start to compete with us and be ahead of us. Okay, so another example is, let's say one private tutor, or okay, like for example, tutors cost money, right? Quality tutors cost money. You might get some free ones from your school or whatever, your public school, but these are volunteer tutors. They don't do that for profession. But tutors on profession that got trucks and business cards and vans that promote their stuff, they are well experienced. You dig? They know what they're doing. They got results. They got success stories. They tutor SATs and things like that. They cost money. I'm telling you, I know because I work around them. Or I used to work around them, trying to get back in that game. But they charge $80 an hour, and some of those kids sit with that tutor. Okay. Okay. You guys stop. You guys stop. Okay. So they charge those tutors charge, and this was before the pandemic. So who know what they charge now? Because everything went up. But they were charging $80 an hour, and those kids would be with those tutors for 3 to 4 hours. Okay, but definitely 2 hours because I'm right there. Like nobody was there longer than me, but I seen them be there for three hours with the same kid. All right, but these kids were obviously Asian, Indian, Chinese, and yeah, man. So if you got those type of tutors as opposed to free or no tutors, like it's not a fair race. That's what I'm trying to point out. So, but how did they get capital? And why don't we have capital to afford those tutors? See, it goes back to that it goes back to compounding harm that Shapiro wants to ignore. Reading the chat now. Okay, let me look at some of the chat before I continue with Shapiro. Reading the chat now. Okay, let me look at some of the chat before I continue with myself Shapiro. Then. Yeah, why I can hear myself? Reading the chat now. Okay, let me look at some of the chat before I continue with myself Shapiro. Then. Yeah, why I can hear myself? I can hear myself now. Okay, let me look at some of the chat before I continue with myself. And that's yeah, I was really, you know what, let me take yeah, I got an echo that you hear the echo because that's me listening to myself. All right, so let me take Charlie Kirk out the topic because I really want to put him in there. All right, let me take him out. Yeah, because that's probably why I'm getting these complications. Even when I was starting up the live, the intro video. Okay. Even when I was doing the intro video, it was like choppy. So I'm like, yeah. So look, I took Charlie Kirk name out the title. So if you refresh your screens, you're gonna see that his name is out. Because I don't know if that got something to do with it, but I'm not on mute, so it's everybody should have been able to hear me clearly. And then I heard myself. So let's see where we at now. I'm not on mute, so all right, so I heard myself. All right, so let me finish. So I took Charlie Kirk out the title, but I'm gonna still speak on some things that he said about Second Amendment and gun control. Okay, so systemic harm requires systemic repair. That's the bottom line. But Shapiro's claim, he said DEI is a zero-sum game, and meritocracy should decide who gets ahead. So that's back to the most qualified person. All right. But the fact is, Ben, and come on, can you really expect Charlemagne, DJ Envy? What is the woman name? Not Messy Jessie. What's the other woman's name? She got like a funny name. What is her name? The one that's gonna take Messy Jessie place. What's her name on the Breakfast Club? But anyway, like none of them were ready, and she's probably good in like gossip, but she tried her education versus him, and he embarrassed her. Made it look really really bad. he showed that there's levels. Like there's some who play around with information and pretend like they on some stuff, and there's people who actually know a little bit. Um, yeah, I can't think of her name, but in it, but it's pointless because the point is none of them were qualified to give him any pushback. That's why I think these debates be staged. The Larry Elders, the Candace Owens, and the Ben Shapiro. I think it's staged to make it seems like there is some merit, there's some validity behind these conservative talking points because they get on there and really beat them up pretty badly. Okay, yeah, but they don't really push back like that. So meritocracy isn't neutral. Okay, decades of hiring discrimination data shows that Foundation Black American candidates. Stop. Stop. Lay down. I'll take everything from you. You're being too noisy. You're trying to compete with me in noise. Stop. Stop. Don't do that. All right. Like yeah, none of them was qualified, and they knew they was gonna have on it. I'm telling you, these conservatives be handing them cheat sheets. Don't ask me this. I'm gonna say this. Don't give me no more pushback. You could give me pushback, but stop. You know what I mean? Don't you know what I mean? Of course. So because there's so much information that shows that we were we had identical resumes and we got fewer callbacks. So what happened to meritocracy? What happened? Because we were just as qualified as our counterparts. Systemic harm equals systemic remedy. That's what Charlemagne argued. Okay, so let's talk about their advantages. That was unearned. It wasn't due to them. It wasn't owed to them because of past injuries or past harms. It was a free gift. Okay, we call that white privilege. The Homestead Act, 1862, GI Bill, 1944, FHA loans, 1934, HOLC, 1933. What about zoning laws? Don't do that. I told you last time. Okay, don't do that, man. Okay, so what was I saying? Oh, zoning laws. What about restrictive covenants? What about so they just kept getting bailed out every time they failed and every time they fell to the ground. We're talking about white people as a whole in this country. Every time they fell to the ground, they got bailed out with some type of welfare program or welfare assistance. When I say welfare, I'm talking about government assistance, government programs kept bailing them out. The Homestead Act was a bailout. The GI Bill was a bailout. They were failing. That was the Great Depression. The FHA loans, HOLC, all that stuff was after the Great Depression. They all flopped and failed. And zoning laws was to create the race disparity as far as where can you move and who's stuck in the ghetto. You had when that was shot down in 1917 as unconstitutional. Here they come with something off the books called restrictive covenants. Okay, to sign contract. So if you bought a home, you signed a contract where you pledged that when you sell your home, it could not be to a FBA. Okay, it's that simple. It's that simple. So by doing that, they kept generational wealth in the middle class because home ownership is the recipe of generational wealth. That's a fact. Angela Yee, that's her name? No, not Angela Yee. Yeah, Lauren. Yeah. You guys really don't watch it. That's good. That's a Nothing Burger show. Lauren LaRosa, that's her name. That weird name. That woman, she was out of her league. She was out of her league. Like I said, I think Charlemagne DJ Envy knew who this guy was, Ben Shapiro, but you could tell she didn't do her homework. Like this one of the white supremacist tough top debaters. So yeah, she really didn't do her homework trying to challenge him. and he did make it look really bad. Okay. Okay. Anyway, like I said, all those um programs that was given to government welfare programs that was given to whites freely. Stop it. I told you stop it. Now let go and don't do that. Last time. I'm gonna take your cartoon and you're going to bed. Okay? Try me. And go ahead again. Go here. Okay, so all right. So yeah, so they were gifted free assistance programs so they could never hit rock bottom. And they're gonna tell us to pull up our bootstraps. It's like, hold up, when did you ever pull up your bootstraps in this country? Every time you guys failed and was about to hit rock bottom, a government program came to save you. So DEI isn't about giving unqualified people jobs. It was supposed to be about removing artificial barriers so qualified FBA candidates cannot compete on a fair field, but not just FBA. And this was for everybody colored, you take the minorities. It was supposed to be for FBAs. All right. Golden Brown, peace. Okay. So remember, he tried to argue it's too late for reparations. Now, this is a typical argument from conservatives. It's too late. Like I said, I already talked about that. I already did that. But again, the he argues that that racism stopped, systemic racism stopped in 1970 or just at the 1968 mark. They ignored mass incarceration, the war on drugs, and all these other stuff. They ignored predatory lending that targeted black homeowners before the 2008 crash that wiped out 50% of black wealth. Um, so reparations today are not solely about chattel slavery. They address 400 years of cumulative theft that still affects us. Okay, so the wealth gap is 8 to 1 as a result of chattel slavery and everything till now, and also the things that they were given freely that they didn't work for, wasn't earned, and it wasn't owed to them. So it's just goofy. And then don't give us no money, no checks, because all of a sudden checks don't make you better, right? But I already spoke about that already. Just a goofy, hateful argument, anti-FBA. These are anti-FBA arguments. Okay, make no mistake, and we need to point out like that when they have these how they don't like reparations in a cash form. We know that's when they say anti-Semitic, these are anti-FBA. Okay. All right. So let's go to this one. So this video right here. This video right here. Okay. This video is a setting where that's Charlie Kirk in the right. This setting, he was speaking about how he's a Second Amendment advocate, right? This video didn't age well for him at all. Um, and like somebody in the chat said, you know, I don't parade after nobody's death, especially in form of a assassination. 'Cause that's exactly what happened to him. This wasn't no random person, no random crazed person running up on him. Okay, this was definitely If y'all seen the video like I did, I seen an uncensored video. That was not a random act of violence. Okay. That was a sniper, perfectly positioned. Okay. And it's gruesome. Gruesome. There was no way he was going to survive that. He could have been in the hospital. And nah, that was a KILL shot. Okay. Anyway, pardon my language. But in this video, like I said, this video didn't age well. It didn't age well. And it did sadden me because I do have videos where I'm debunking his arguments. He's also against reparations, CRT. He's a pull up your bootstrap guy. Argument's very weak. He pick on college kids that can't read debate. Like they're just learning about CRT. They're not like the professor. So it's like staged, kind of like the Breakfast Club. It's staged for them to do well. Okay, they're the favorite to win those debates. Mm. So yes, I'm never a fan of that. Very sensitive, like that is savagery at its best. Nobody should be taken out that way for their opinion, no matter how controversial it is. Like people have the right to share their opinion, especially when it's not like outright, like he's not saying some outright brutal stuff like the KKK. He's not saying nothing too like that violent. Okay, so maybe somebody should have beat him up, but the way he went out was like really really bad. And this ain't it's not a moment to like be savage, be a savage yourself, and cheer that on because we got loved ones out there who speak on our behalf, and we don't want to see a video like that of those who are great spokesmen, spokeswomen for our causes. So, like, hopefully his family never see that video. That was crazy. But anyway, in this video, he frames the Second Amendment as a necessary trade-off, right? Acknowledging that there will be violence, there will be gun violence. Okay, as I said, this didn't age well. Okay, so he framed the Second Amendment. I'm trying to choose my words carefully. He framed the Second Amendment. Oh, by the way, my email is blackthinktank@yahoo.com in case the worst happens for talking about this. But he frames the Second Amendment as a necessary trade-off, acknowledging that there will be gun violence, but claiming that this is the price of liberty. Harsh, harsh, chosen words. This has nothing to do with today. This is something he was always, a lot of these folks are pro, Second Amendment. So his core argument in this setting, he said the Second Amendment is non-negotiable, right? He frames the right to bear arms as foundational, meant to protect God-given rights and serve as a check against government tyranny. He says it's not primarily about hunting or even personal defense, but about ensuring a free citizenry capable of resisting oppression. He said there's a cost of liberty. Okay, he argues that having an armed population inevitably comes with gun violence. Okay, I'm saying gun violence. He chose a different word there. That's equivalent to gun unaliving. I'm gonna just say gun violence. And that we should accept those actions from gun violence as the price of living in a free society. So he's saying that there will be casualties as a result of gun violence. He calls it worth it because disarming citizens would, in his view, lead to greater tyranny or government outreach. He said hardening schools instead of restricting guns. Okay. He advocates for armed guards at schools, just like we have at banks, airports, and sports stadiums. He's arguing that this is the most practical way to prevent school unfortunate situations. He explicitly rejects the idea of reducing civilian GUN ownership as a solution. Okay. So let's go. Okay. So so even his critics will agree with some things he said within that. Okay. But here's what people his critics are not going to agree with. He called it worth it, right? Okay. So his language was like very harsh and cold, right? Cold calculations, cold summations. So he is effectively saying that thousands of unaliving per year, including little ones, are a necessary cost, without acknowledging that the U.S. has far higher GUN unaliving than other developed countries with similar freedoms. Comparison: Japan, Canada, Australia all have civilian GUN ownership at lower rates, but far fewer mass, you know, so this is not an inevitable cost, it's a policy choice. That's what his critics will argue. Okay. So like the way some of these conservatives argue, they argue like this is the only solution. Okay, so school bang bangs are unique to the US. Armed guards at banks don't solve the root causes of mass bang bangs. And mass bang bangs have attacked schools with security present, e.g., Parkland had an armed guard. Relying on hardening schools turned them into military zones and doesn't address access to high power firearms. That's the issue his critics will point out. So they will say the tyranny argument is outdated. So this is what they do. A lot of Republicans, they're the main ones. The government in this country, and a lot of Pan-Africanists parrot that argument, and then we're into that, so we parrot that argument, and we don't know that it actually came from white racist conservatives. That's why I say some of you guys got to really, really like reevaluate what you thought and what you think today, and you should really do that with me because I'm great with pointing out conservative arguments. I'm great at pointing out the origin of arguments. I'll tell you who everybody got them from. It could be Pan-Africans, it could be black nationalists, especially the things that we parrot. I can tell you if that's like grassroots or conservative, white racist, KKK conservative root. But some of our arguments are deeply rooted in conservatism. It just we didn't hear it from them. We heard it from somebody of melanin, right? But we didn't know that they got it from the conservatives. Okay. So the tyranny argument is outdated. No modern civilian population can realistically resist a modern military state, drones, tanks, cyber warfare with AR-15s. Historical examples: Germany 1930, Rwanda 1944 show that armed civilians often get outgunned or are disarmed anyway. This argument is more symbolic than practical. Yeah, so folks run around with rifles is nothing when you're faced with tanks, drones, and cyber warfare. You can't do nothing. So all this Second Amendment talk, I'm going to defend and we're going to against tyranny. That's garbage. That's garbage. When those Navy SEALs come out from that water, you're going to drop every gun you got in your house. Here you go. I'm just kidding, like Jason. You're gonna be some Nelly line. I'm just kidding, like Jason. Here go my guns. I wasn't gonna do nothing. Like, yeah, we know. So it ignores root causes. So Charlie Kirk is one of those guys that argue if more fathers were in the home, but he skips over evidence-based solutions like closing loopholes for background checks, red flag laws to stop known threats, safe storage requirements, which would reduce accidental death in school, bang, 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 significantly. Okay, so we got a troll in the chat. Let me see. What did that person say? Let me see what that person said. Yeah, no. Don't tie nobody out for saying rest in peace, CK. Okay. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with people showing respect for somebody who was taken out in the most, the worst way, a savage way. That's not our thing. So if they want to say rest in peace, they got all right to say that. We're not gonna block that. They don't block that. Let people sympathize, empathize, you dig? Because again, like we wouldn't if something happened to somebody who we love as a spokesman for us, spokeswoman for us, we would want to be able to say that. You dig? Like I said, I disagree with a lot of things that he believed and expressed, but I would have never wanted that to happen to him. Now I ain't gonna stop it because a lot of y'all be having your personal issues that you want to plaster on FBAs, and we're not doing that. If you guys hate a certain group, that's on you. You don't speak for me. You dig? I'm not coming from a black nationalist background directly or from a Pan-Africanist background where I got this hate. No. I got too much love for us to be hating somebody else. I just want us to be great. So I ain't got to go around acting like those we criticize. So we criticize tethers and white supremacists for those views. I'm not borrowing those views, and I don't do nothing for us. We think about winning, right? We don't think about people. People think about us. They don't think about winning. You see what I'm saying? There's a big difference. We think about winning. People think about us all day long. We're free, and people heads. Yeah. So you go take your butt to Sinetta, True Pilgrim, and you can hear everything you want to hear about Whitey. I ain't doing that. Um, I'm not gonna ever celebrate something like that. Like I said, I seen the video. That was crazy. That was crazy. Yeah, well, I'm not on that, and we're not on that. That's not what we're doing. Nah. I'm about to time you out. Talking about some this, bro. Listen, man. Take again. This ain't the channel for that, bro. Okay, go. Yeah, this ain't that channel. What we do over here, we speak facts. We don't speak of emotions and fake pseudo doctrines. No, we speak on facts and truths, and we debunk stuff. You dig? But nah, ain't no time to love, time to hate. All right, well, you take that somewhere else. That's not what I'm on. That's not what I stand for, and I'm not gonna let us be into that. Like, see, stuff like that is what you guys go join, and you guys end up all being deleted, and it'll be justified because they'll screenshot that right there. What you just said, they'll screenshot that and say, "Look what he was on," and then have everybody against you. Yeah, I'm not on that. You're not gonna project that on me or the lineage. The lineage ain't got nothing to do with that. Your personal views, and I don't really share. Like I got personal views on certain things. You feel me? But I don't believe it's beneficial to the lineage because it's my personal views, and they'll just be controversial. You feel me? It'll set us back. We'll be talking about things that's goofy, and it'll just be setting us back because they're my personal views. We're 43 million deep. We're not a monolith. We are all entitled to personal views. Okay, some people personal views, they think Islam is the way of life. Cool. Some people think LGBTQIA plus is the way of life. Okay. Republican Party, conservatism, Democrat, liberalism, and whatever else, Green Party, you know, some folks, but I always say those are too controversial right now. We'll deal with that later. Our focus is we're trying to galvanize as many people as possible to get on code. Okay. The lineage is the code. We're getting together based on what we have in common right now, and that's the lineage. We got different opinions, so we can't really galvanize on those opinions because it'll never happen. But what we got for sure in common is we're from the lineage. So we're gonna galvanize on that. And then we'll work things from there. So basically we're starting from ground zero. Okay, so everything that was in front of us to divide us, we're letting it all go and we're starting from ground zero saying, okay, before we decided to be anything in life, we were this. Our lineage is this. That never changed. Okay. So yeah. So yeah, listen, man. I'm my whole life. It's been hard for me to be peer pressured. Okay, it's hard to peer pressure me to some silliness. And now I'm an older 47. I know better. Like I know we're not. I read the Malcolm X's and study all these folks, the Panthers. I see what works, what does not work, and who was successful and why were they successful and what were they pushing. So we get to learn from past mistakes. That type of rhetoric you just said, yeah, go out there and talk like that. See what happens. Okay, yeah, but so in this video I'm showing you, he said some very insensitive, harsh words in this video, and it evidently rubbed people the wrong way where they couldn't forgive him because he talked about school bang bang bangs and casualties that came from that, and he said it was necessary to preserve your right to bear arms. So people didn't like that. They obviously held on to it and they waited for a moment to express their disagreement with that, you feel me, in the worst way. So that's why I'm trying to let you guys know. You talking about time and place. Now the time and place is be careful what you say. Okay, all right, well, look, how about this? How about you can go, man. You can go. How about that? Sample that. You can go. This guy want us to cheer, like, oh yeah, yeah. No, man, I'm a human being, bro. I ain't no savage like you. I'm a human being. So when folks pass, yeah, that's not a proud day for us. What how do I gain? I'm still dealing with systemic racism. I'm still fighting for reparations. I'm still, you know what I mean? I'm still there ain't no win. You know what I mean? So yeah, so anyway, I said what I said. I just said what he said in this whatever this is right here, platform, stage, what he said here didn't age well because the very concept he was defending was a concept to unalive him, unfortunately. And like I said, I'm not pro that. I'm not cheering. I don't celebrate that. If you guys got a lot of anger and hate in within you, that's yeah. What's my favorite phrase? Take your medicine. Yeah, but he was Needle Swain is right. He was really too much. And I'm saying for them. I'm saying he would not for me. I'm saying I can see how people can be that upset. He was really insensitive on sensitive topics. Okay, he had people there stopping people from approaching and swinging on them, hurting them. And when I heard about this unfortunate situation, I thought it was somebody who he was debating or somebody came from the crowd and ran up on him. When I seen the video, I'm like, oh, it was nothing I expected. I didn't expect a damn sniper thing. I'm like, what the Yeah, but what I'm not going to do is set you guys. What he was doing, True Pilgrim, that was like black nationalist op talk. Okay, wanted to speak ill and vile, and then something happens to one of our loved ones. You dig? That speaks on our behalf. Like I don't want to even want to say a name because I don't want to. You dig? Put that on nobody. But the folks we love, the folks we love to listen to. Can you imagine them getting unalived because of their opinion? Like, come on. Not doing that. I'm not basking in that. Like, but some of y'all just haven't found love within yourself, man. And that's really the case. And I just say, take your medicine. Don't listen to Umar. Take your medicine. Okay, so anyway, let me address some of this stuff right here. So Tariq Nasheed had a string of debates with white supremacists, and they make crazy, crazy remarks. And I just want to address them once and for all together. Starting with this one.
Know what we're dealing
Well,
with.
it's not suspected. I mean, it's a measurable data that our IQ is higher.
Oh,
So
so
it's not
you're full.
suspect. It's
Okay,
not suspect actually.
so you're a full white supremacist. Okay.
Well, I'm just saying that,
Okay, so
they are supreme in some ways, but perhaps not all, but some, yes,
but
certainly.
your IQs are higher.
That's what
Just
all
tell me it'll be
data that
funny.
has ever been gathered has showed.
Got it.
Okay, so he's going with the IQ lie. All right, so I'm going to debunk all of this tonight.
So if your IQs are higher and black people are, walking around with lower IQs, why the need for systematic deprivation?
Well, personally, I'm not a part of any systematic deprivation, so I
Yeah,
can't
you are.
make. Well, no, I'm not
You're
because
part of society. White supremacist society is
no,
all about
no,
depriving
no.
black
You
people.
can't pin,
Okay, no. White supremacist
dude.
society.
All this muting is cope. I mean,
No,
you
no,
can
no,
you can mute.
no, but no, you're not gonna. No, sorry, this. I'm not your meth dealer. You just can't walk in just saying shit and just talking
I'm not
all
trying
willy
to.
nilly. There has to be order here. This is not the meth lab. We have order. You don't talk over people, sir.
I'm
We don't
not your
do that
meth
here.
dealer.
We have to have decorum. Okay, we have to have decorum. Now, since you're so supreme and black people are inferior, why do you have to go out of your way to
Yes, sir. Napaj,
deprive
peace.
inferior people of resources?
Herald
Because that's
of
what
Doom
white
2000.
supremacy does. It's all about systematic deprivation where black people can't have shit.
Right. Herald of Doom 2000 says, LOL, there is no correlation to race and IQ. No credible scholar or scientist will say that. Right. So these guys, uh, they want an advantage so bad, they'll just make some stuff up. Knowing is garbage. And they'll test it out to see if we know any better. And if we don't, they'll just run with it. It'll make them feel good, even though they know it's a lie.
So why that, sir?
I never said that we were supreme. You're the one who said that. I said our
You just
IQs are
said that.
higher.
Yeah, and I said suspected. You're like, no, it's not suspected.
It's
So
not.
we,
Just
okay,
Google it.
so you agree
Just
that you
Google
are
it,
white,
man.
you are white supremacist. Okay, I believe you. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm not disagreeing with
You
you.
are
So
the only one saying that people being smarter or having a higher intelligence makes them supreme. I didn't say that.
by definition, that's what it
Yeah,
is.
come on. What's the point of saying it then? Like, what's the point of saying it? Like, what that you're saying it, um, for what reason? Like, what you guys say it. Okay, let's say if it's true. Then what? You got a hierarchy. Now what? Like, what's your point behind that? And some of these white supremacists be scared to say it, but I got one so I'm gonna play a couple clips of different people saying something similar, and one white supremacist ain't gonna be afraid to say it. He's gonna say the reason why they say it. So we all know they're saying it because they think it justifies them claiming superiority over us. I mean, come on, just be a brave white supremacist. Just say it.
I
And you said you weren't suspected. See, now, I don't. If you say something, stand on it.
I am standing on it.
You're
Our
not standing
IQs
on it,
are
so
higher. I'm
okay.
not saying it makes us supreme necessarily.
That's
You
exactly
said
what
that.
it means.
No,
If
well,
your
you're the
IQ is
one who thinks that
higher,
whites are supreme then.
you just told me your IQs are higher, and
They are.
it's okay to call black children the N-word.
Well, it's okay to say any.
So by definition, you are a white supremacist. That's your word, by the way. That's your
Listen,
community's word. That, sir, no, slow down, because you're trying to talk in
dude, this is
circles.
mute code. I'm not talking in.
Right. No. You're trying to talk in
No, you
circles.
keep
Slow down.
muting me, so it might seem like it, but I'm.
No, you're trying to talk over me. So you've basically admitted that you are suspected, or not even suspected, a confirmed white supremacist. So my thing is, if you are supreme, why the deprivation towards black
Peace,
people? Why do
Moonduck
you have to
Maximus.
deprive resources?
What am I depriving black people of?
You're a part of white supremacist society, and
I
white
never said
supremacist
that. You're the
society,
one saying that. I
yes.
said our IQs are higher.
Yeah,
You're the
that
one
means
saying that makes us
you,
supreme.
sir, you're talking, you said that about 3 times, or maybe 4. So by definition, if your IQ, if you say your IQ is higher, that means you are superior. That's the only thing that means. And that's a white supremacist trope that justified anti-black racism. That the
Yeah, how cannot that be your conclusion? If I'm smarter, if I'm clearly documented to be smarter than the next person, I need to be at work. Like, let's use work. Let's use work. My God, let's use work. If I'm clearly smarter than the next person next to me, it's like clearly documented, then obviously I need to be promoted. I need to be superior than my coworker, this one. And if I'm clearly documented to be smarter than everybody in the building, where it's like proven, it's like seen, we can read it and look at it, then I need to be the most, I need to be in the most superior position at the job, right? If I'm clearly smarter, there's no way we can make the same pay. There's no way justifiably we should be working the same title, just using the same title, have the same duties. I should have a superior position here. Like, so that means that people are not valuing or taking advantage of my IQ, how smart I am. So I become a brain waste to the company, which, come on, man. Obviously, if I'm clearly the smartest person in the room, then I need to be treated as such.
IQs were higher. But my question is, if your IQ is
Right,
so high,
Harold,
you wouldn't
Geraldo,
have to have systematic
Harold
deprivation.
of Doom.
You wouldn't have to deprive people of liberty and rights and equality. You have said out of your own mouth, sir, that it's okay to racially terrorize black children, especially if they're special needs. That's white supremacy, sir. There's nothing else. That's white
Well,
supremacy.
I disagree. I don't really think that I have taken any liberty from you. I think that this is
You
sort
have.
of a massive victimhood complex that you're
It, yeah,
placing on
because
yourself.
you are a victimizer and you
I
co-sign
know
a
I'm not.
victimizer.
I'm not.
Yes,
All
you
I
are,
said
sir.
is that
You co-sign a woman who victimized a black child. You said you are
Okay.
perfectly fine with that.
All right. So now we're going somewhere else. So let's go next video.
Smoking meth heads in the United States, and the number one drug in the United States is meth. More white people smoke more meth than Wu-Tang, and I'll end there.
Yes, indeed.
So y'all still don't understand per capita, do you?
Explain it to us.
I'm not going to, because you're just going to try to debunk it.
Yeah, this per capita thing, yeah. These guys are stuck on this one. Then he said, I'm not going to explain it because you're going to try to debunk it. Well, yeah. Why would I let it fly if it's wrong?
I'll end there.
Yes, indeed.
So y'all still don't understand per capita, do you?
Explain it to us.
I'm not going to, because you're just going to try to debunk it. You've all had had to explain to you before, like I'm not wasting my time.
Because you don't understand it. It's just a talking point.
No, I actually do.
No, you don't.
Well, explain it then.
Tell us about the per capita. Tell us about the per capita gang.
You've heard it all before, guys.
Tell us more.
I'm not.
Because it's all horseshit. Raw numbers is what matters. Per capita, that's like white supremacists trying to manipulate numbers.
See, that's what you keep saying,
Right.
isn't it? That's what you all just keep always saying is white supremacy, because you've learned it from the news. You learned it from Biden.
I learned,
and
no. I learned it
followers.
from your community, sir. Y'all, you in your community.
No, you didn't learn it from my
Like the
community.
white supremacist community. Yes, I have. They were saying that in the 1800s.
Right.
They've been saying
Just like 1776 saying there is not.
it
Y'all,
is.
y'all make this a
Yeah, the per capita thing is hilarious because they pick and choose when they use per capita as opposed to whole numbers. It's only when it fits their argument. So if it fits their argument to use whole numbers, they'll use whole numbers. When it fits their argument to use per capita, they'll do that. Like for example, no, you're gonna see the next video. Watch. Mhm.
No,
boogeyman,
it's
and y'all
not.
keep
No, it's not.
playing
There were
to it.
laws. Y'all said it with your chest. Abraham Lincoln.
Okay. So the per cap, I kept that clip in there because it's funny. All right, check this out, family. Oh no, why did they go to the beginning? Oh no, I had it saved perfectly, man. Now I gotta find it. Damn. Damn.
Benefiting from. We don't benefit from that. You understand? So how am I responsible for some fool who's robbing a damn liquor store to get a hit? The criminal class, even hustlers.
Now I gotta find it.
Itself, when they say black crime, mass shooters, every day numbers
Coming
on
up.
anything to
Here we go.
they start running around talking about some damn per capita, and that's another con game too. So that proves the term black crime is about racial identity, not
All right, he about
crime.
to call in.
You understand? You got Black Panthers to legitimate power. So that the same guy he was talking about, yeah, the Crips and Bloods did this to the Black Jim Crow era, but
Worse until we take the
Here
step
he is.
of removing these people. We have to keep speaking about it. The media is trying to hide her name, Larissa Thompson, and it's
now this is a sister. They underreport white.
Okay.
Their beef doesn't go out because none of us.
Where is he?
You understand what I'm saying? The Asian. Do you really want to go there? You talk about arrest the white man for gun. He has to say, Mimi, what's up, man? Here in here.
I'll find it.
Them two hood rats to empower a community.
Okay. All right, let me find it. Oh boy. All right, so he about to say something crazy, all right? But this is a regular talking point for anybody who claims conservatism. Hilarious. Okay, let's see. Let me see. 1 second, fam. Let me find it exactly where it's at. Okay, come. Yeah. So he said something crazy, and I want to find it. Here we go. Here we go. Here. I found it. I found it, family. I found it. He about to say it. Okay, so he about to say it. Here, I found where it's at.
Supremacists like to do running around here talking about some damn per capita. You don't go for
I
that.
was
That's
there.
a little white supremacist math trick that they try to do. Well, 13% of the population means 53% of the crime. No, they don't.
So that's it right there. They like to say 13% of the population. When they say that, they're talking about FBAs, and they're saying that we could commit 50% of not just the crimes. They say we commit 50% of. I'm not gonna tell you. I'm gonna let them say it.
Murderers, rapists on earth.
The only chaos is brought about you guys. Murder rates amongst blacks, 13% of the population,
Sir,
52% of murders.
lies.
Do you not know?
Okay. All right. I gotta bring the mouth, the mic closer. He said we make up 13% of the population, but we commit. Yo, these dudes are retarded. But we commit 50% of the murders. Okay, that's not per capita. That's a raw number. Okay, so we could say if that's true, then why are you using wrong numbers? Let's just use per capita. Because if you do per capita, it's going to be normal. Like we're our murder rate is no different than whites and anybody else per capita. But because this one fits the argument better, they'll lie and say a small population, 13%, commits 50% of the murders. You know how crazy that is? 50% of, yo, that's 347 million people in America. If we committed 50% of murders, I mean, goddamn. Damn, yo, we'll be all serial killers, yo. That means the average, like, Foundation Black American got to be killing like 100 people per year or worse. 50% of the murders? Matter of fact, let's look it up. Let's see how many murders are happens every year. I gotta know this one. Okay, I gotta know what number this is. He said 50%.
This one.
I want total. It's total. Well, where's AI, man? AI. Okay. Okay. So that means that we committed 9.5. All right, of 19,000. All right. So now let me ask this question. Based on 2023 data reported in Statista and the FBI, Black Americans were offenders in 6,405 murder cases, according to the Giffords Law Center. There were 10,035 352 firearm homicides among Black Americans. Okay, Black Americans. All right. All right. Let's go back.
Per capita rate.
Murderers, rapists on earth.
The only chaos is brought about you guys. Murder rates amongst blacks, 13% of the population, 52% of murders. Do you not know per capita, Tyree?
What is this? I ain't pressed that. All right, cool. So, all right. So now we're gonna let Jared Teller say the same thing. That we're gonna cook. We're gonna cook on all of them.
That's not true. That's more I'm white and I say so. But Jared, why are black people so violent? Why are black people violent?
Okay, you want the answer to that question?
I do. I want to know the answer.
It's a combination of low average IQ and high serum testosterone combined with a lesser ability to defer gratification.
Okay, see, he wasn't afraid to explain what they mean by we got lower IQs. Now, see, he said the lower IQ coincides with our obsession for crime, our taste for crime. He's going to break it all down. What they really mean when they say they got higher IQs and we got lower IQs. So he's not afraid to stand on that white supremacy doctrine.
Because the combination of low IQ and high testosterone, no matter what the race of the person, makes a man more likely to commit crimes, primarily of violence, but other crimes as well. Furthermore, an inability to defer gratification. And you can prove this if you take a group of white children, a group of black children, and you say to them, you have a choice of either 1 marshmallow now or 3 marshmallows a half an hour from now. Asian children are more likely to say, well, I'll wait and I'll get the 3 marshmallows than the Asian are the most likely, then comes whites, then comes blacks. Black children want that one marshmallow now, even if it means they don't get 3 marshmallows in a half an hour. That kind of mentality of being unwilling to sacrifice now for the future lends itself to a kind of smash and grab mentality that makes people more likely to commit crimes. So it's a combination of those 3 things. And you find
okay, so there we go. There we go. Let's get them back on the screen. All right, let's cook. Okay, all right. So what he just said and what all the other suspected white supremacists said was a classic racist trope, especially with the IQ differences thing. Okay, and they use the IQ differences to justify systemic racism and harsh laws. 'Cause like you said, we are more prone to commit crimes because we have that smash and grab mentality. And if I'm a politician, if I'm in Congress, right, if I'm a legislator, and I believe that, then I'm getting ready for some smash and grab behavior from these niggas. So I'm gonna start putting laws in place to um discourage it. Or no, I'm sorry, you cannot discourage it because they're saying it's inherent. They're saying like the smash and grab mentality is inevitable. There's nothing you can do to discourage it. It's just gonna rear its ugly head. So let's get these jail cells ready. Really, that's literally their argument. They believe that the smash and grab mentality based off our low IQs is going to bring about inevitable expressions, inevitable actions, and they're going to be criminal on all levels, including deletions, unaliving people. So that's why they build so many jail cells. They say, hey, man, there's nothing you can do to deter it or discourage it. You know, this is just going to happen. All right. But this IQ thing, they purposely misread it. Okay. They cherry pick the data. They have deeply flawed assumptions, as you can imagine. Okay, so what does the IQ test results really say? First and foremost, IQ as a concept is not a fixed measure of innate intelligence. IQ test measures skills shapely by environment. They measure things like problem solving, speed, memory, and vocabulary, all of which are heavily influenced by schooling, better schools, nutrition, better eating, stress, less stressful, and cultural familiarity with the test questions. So if you're used to these questions growing up, you're more prepared for the answers. Now watch this. Scores change over time. The Flynn effect shows that the average IQ scores have risen globally by over 20 points in the past century, proving IQ isn't fixed, Jared Teller. It's shaped by society. See, more people are becoming familiar with those questions. Socioeconomic factors explains gaps. You can when you can I'm sorry, when you can control for income, parental education, neighborhood quality, most of the racial IQ gaps disappear. Again, let me say it one more time. Jared Taylor, when you can control for income, parental education, and neighborhood quality, most of the racial IQ gap disappears. The gap is largely about access to quality education and childhood environment, not genetics. So the kid that's within a nuclear family, the kid that don't gotta witness drug dealing, drug selling, crack addicts, alcoholics begging, bums begging. And when that's not your reality, you're gonna do better. And if you go to better schools, better quality schools, you're gonna do better on these IQ tests. Okay. So environmental changes can affect your scores. All right. That's a fact. So it's not genetics. That's what they really want to say. They don't really say it, but they want to believe that they have. Listen, family, this is what they want to say. They believe in a such thing as a smart gene, and they believe they are born with it. Largely, all of them. Okay, they're born with a smart gene. Okay, so people like Jared Teller and other white supremacists, they have historically used IQ to justify oppression. So the eugenics movement in the early 20th century, right? Pseudoscientists claim FBA were intellectually inferior to justify segregation and sterilization programs. So we got to get away from you guys because you are intellectually inferior. Therefore, with that smash and grab mentality, you are going to inevitably smash and grab our stuff. So we want to get away from you, white flight, and we want to sterilize you to decrease more of you degenerates, right? That was their rhetoric. And then how about biased testing, right? IQ tests were originally designed for European populations. Now they don't want to talk about that. These tests were originally designed for European populations. When applied to immigrants and foundational Black Americans, cultural differences skewed the results. They know this. Then those results were used to argue for immigration restrictions and unequal schooling. So they use a lot of circular logic when they present the IQ garbage argument. So they use low scores, right, caused by systemic deprivation, as I just explained, as proof that the deprivation was justified. Exactly what you see, or what you heard from this guy, straight mouth, right? So let me add this in there. So because they are born with the smart gene and we are inherently born with the dumb gene, they say social programs to kind of even access to programs to like tutors and other programs that can help us become quote unquote smarter. They said because we're born with a dumb gene, don't waste your money. Really, this is their argument because I studied their argument for a long time. This is what they're essentially saying. Don't waste your money on social programs that can close the gap or get their IQ scores better because they're born with a dumb gene and you're just wasting money. Okay. So that is literally their argument when you listen to enough of it. Right. Forget it. I love patterns. I just put it all together. Okay. Okay. So Tariq told the other guy, he said, if you okay, go. Okay, you gotta go sit down. Okay, now, okay, good. Now go lay down. Okay. So Tariq pressed one white supremacist. What? Oh yeah, okay, okay. He's mumbling. Okay. So when Tariq Nasheed pressed one white supremacist, he said, if you are supreme, why the need for systemic deprivation? Right? And that was a clever, clever, clever response. So people who hate Tariq Nasheed, they gotta admit that he be having some clever clapbacks. All right. And that was one of them. But you wouldn't have to suppress us and do things to us. We're just buffoons and we're not no threat. So basically, if white IQs are supposedly higher, there should be no need to suppress us. Uh, there should be no need to suppress economic advancement. Why are you sabotaging? Why are you eminent domain? Why are you stop? Why are you burning down? Okay, okay, yeah. Well, why are they burning stuff down? All these things, if we're never going to catch up because we're just not smart enough. That doesn't make any sense. Okay. A truly superior group wouldn't need to redline neighborhoods, block access to loans because we're just going to blow the money, or sabotage or defund our schools and deny access to employment. Why? Give us a job so we can prove you guys right by just screwing the job up. So now you got all this data to justify putting us in a slow class in life. Okay. But the fact that white supremacist systems had to crush our progress, they could start with Tulsa, Oklahoma, 1921. How about COINTELPRO? You don't need that. We're just inevitably or inherently dumb. Contract buying scams, GI Bill exclusions. You can include us. We're just going to blow it. This all proves that this was never about natural ability, right? It was about just rigging the game. They know. So having a so-called higher IQ doesn't equate to moral or civil, like just civilian deprivation, right? But anyway, high IQ nations have committed. Look, let's check this out. All that high IQ that they supposedly have, well, they've committed genocides with that high IQ. They've built concentration camps with that high IQ, and they have dropped bombs with all that high IQ. And intelligence obviously does not equate to morality. Okay, so plenty of majority FBA nation. No, 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 no. Plenty of melanoid nations have produced geniuses, mathematicians, inventors like us, statesmen, despite being under resourced. That's the thing about us. Go watch my video. I gotta do it over on so I'm gonna do the video over in Soul City. Now we got more folks tuning in. Hopefully I ain't shadow banned for adding Kirk name in the title. I took it out though. So we're under resourced, we're underfunded. All right, we're defunded. Um, I read yesterday about the quiet gentrification, how immigrants replace foundational Black Americans quietly, while we focus on the loud gentrification coming from wealthy whites and just wealthy people. Period. We don't pay attention to the quiet gentrification from the immigrants, mainly Hispanics, but and it's the undocumented ones that are the worst. They're the biggest threat to us. It's the undocumented immigrants. Make no mistake, that's a fact. Okay, so anyway, many white majority regions still have poverty, addiction crisis, all in Britain, and failing schools. So is the high IQ just limited just to Americans, or is the high IQ amongst Europeans globally and low IQs? Is that just foundational Black Americans, or that's all folks of the diaspora and the continent? So we got to ask these questions. Really, that's what I would ask. So the claim that white folks have higher IQs is just a rebranding of saying they are naturally superior. So Tariq had it right, which is the very definition of white supremacist ideology. So he was mad that he was called on it. So he was just mad that he was called on it. Now, most all data shows white IQs are higher. That's a fact. Okay, so he ain't wrong with that. But claims come from cherry-picked, outdated studies like the bell curve in 1994. This is where they all get this argument from anyway, Charles Murray. And that bell curve book have been widely debunked by modern geneticists and psychologists. You know why? Because the book suggests a smart gene. No race gene, okay, but there's no smart gene, no race gene for IQ. Large-scale genetic studies show that intelligence is polygenetic. Thousands of gene variants, check this out, and strongly influenced by environment. Your intelligence, your smartness is largely influenced by environment. There's no evidence that one race is inherently smarter, like they like to say, which Harold pointed out, even the U.S. military's own testing during World War II showed FBA IQ scores rose dramatically when FBA soldiers were given better education and nutrition. Family, we got to do ourselves a service. Got to eat good. Elijah Muhammad was onto something. He focused on a good diet, a better diet. He got books, that ain't so accurate today, but he tried the best of what he knows. But he had the right idea. He was pushing for eating to live, not eating because you're just hungry and greedy. Too many of us are eating that way, and our kids are just obese at like 7, 8, 9 because they're eating after their parents. Okay, if you want to eat like that, that's fine, but I wouldn't push that eating or that diet onto your child. You eat it, you give them what they're supposed to eat. I respect that one. So, nobody's inherently smarter. That's garbage. All right. So IQ is not destiny. It's shaped by environment and foundation. Black Americans, we were systematically denied the very conditions that boost IQ. Good schools, which are good schools, safe neighborhoods, and lead-free housing. We ain't gonna talk about that part, the lead thing in Maryland. So Tariq asked a simple question. If you're truly superior, then why cheat? White supremacists had to burn down Black Wall Street, gerrymander districts, and suppress our votes because equality would have exposed the myth of superiority. You see? And how about this? The meritocracy myth. Systemic deprivation, housing, education, job discrimination manufactured the very disparities races now point to as proof of inferiority. Hilarious. Larry, let me look at the chat. What we doing in the chat? Chat, hold on. Chat going pretty fast. Let me refresh this. Chat's going too fast for me to read. It does that when you don't look at your chat for a while. Okay, slow down. Okay, cool. Lack of healthcare access. Yes, see, Granddaddy Nurse is on it. So basically, family, they set the stage for us to fail and do horrible with the IQ test, and then they get it and say, "Look, see, your scores are lower," and that's usually a white supremacist argument. Like I said, scholars and researchers won't use that. They know better. That's why that 1994 bell curve book is seen as pseudoscience. Racism, a racist book, literally racist book. Uh, okay. I'm looking at a comment. So, uh, we got a comment. They said, "Salute to the host. I applaud you and your platform." When he say platform, he's talking about the chat, talking about you guys. So he applaud me and you guys. I'm in accord and agreement with most of the line that you are pushing. However, respectfully, I'm in total disagreement with your position on elders. I would like to have an open-minded, respectful dialogue with you on that. I'm not aware of how to catch you live. If you're open, please. Hell yeah. I definitely want to know about this elder stuff. Let me send the link right now. Hold on. Let me send that link right now. They just commented right now. Yeah, I would love for somebody to convince me why I, at 47 years old, need an elder. Okay. And this was 16 minutes ago. Okay. Yeah, so I sent them the link just now. I would love to hear this elder stuff. Okay. But I gotta ask some questions though. I got to try to see if they're Pan-Africans or Black nationalists, you know, or conservative. I'm gonna ask the questions. Yeah, but that's disrespectful to create food deserts in our neighborhoods. Make sure we have no money to afford better food. Like somebody said, deny us healthcare access. Just make the playing grounds unfair as possible, and then shove an IQ test down our throat and say, see. But again, like this is how desperate they are, and this debunks the superiority complex because why do you gotta cheat? Look, if you were truly superior, you would make sure as much as possible that the playing grounds were even and equal. And now you can say, see, we both eat good. We both got access to healthcare. Both of our schools are equally great. Both of us got, uh, decent communities to live in. And then shove that test down our throat, and then you have a better argument. But yeah, but there's no such thing as a smart race. Okay. So if you go more deeper, uh, the whole race thing is usually just comparable within that group. So the groups don't. I might be misrepresenting it the way I'm expressing it in words, but I'll try my best to express it. So the way it is, the way it's taught, the way I study this is that the variants of intelligence are based on that particular group. So you only see the smart dumbness, if you want to say that, that's only amongst who you would call whites. And then you only see that smart dumbness across who you call blacks or Asians or, Hispanics. But they don't cross, they don't cross. Like you're not gonna see a smart dumb with two different groups. It's only amongst the one group you'll see the smart dumb. And I'm using horrible words to express what I'm saying, but I think you guys get it. You only see the variance, the smart dumbness amongst the same group. Not the two groups don't you can't compare like that. That's not how it works. Yeah, so I definitely been reading about this for a long, long time, family. I'm up to date on this argument. Yeah, so Herald of Doom 2000 says here are other IQ they don't test: EQ, emotional intelligence, awareness, empathy, regulations. SQ can mean social intelligence, relationships, group dynamics, or spiritual intelligence. Right, right. And hey, and the ability. So there's a lot of stuff like awareness. There's other things that's like tied into this. Like I said, I watched so many videos of experts breaking this down. And some of it's about just your ability to like figure something out, like a puzzle. Like you put a puzzle together, just like that's something that they won't consider. So that's why it's called cherry pick data. All right. Pinky Well says in the so-called white neighborhoods, the food and housing is less expensive. Um, Moonduck Maximus got his link in the chat for you guys to get your shirts. FBA versus the Globe. Check it out. Yes, do create weight problem for your child. Right. And that's the thing that we forget. And for it might be too late for some, but for those who got little ones, that's like little tiny ones, like under maybe who are not eating solid foods yet. I would advise if I'm allowed to make sure you don't have your kid eat after you. Eat what you like and let them eat their kid food. Okay. Eat what you like and feed them their kid foods. Okay. Oh my God. So I'm trying to wait for that person to click the link to explain to me why I need an elder at 47 years old. Mike, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna ask. I'm gonna tell them I'm live tomorrow in the morning if they can't make it now. Okay, I just said, hey, contact me tomorrow morning. I think it's gonna be a good dialogue. The elder talk. Should we have elders? All right. So I think we're winding down. Well, you guys still Hebrew native, Shalom family, the roosters. Nah, see, I don't see the thing about me is that I'm sure there's a lot of channels, there's FBA, and we're like acting a fool. And I'm saying that's exactly the response they want to have from it. They want to show, see, low IQ. Who doesn't mourn deaths? Who like people act like we did it. You dig? Hey, yeah, see, I'm just human. You feel me? I'm just human. And I actually seen the footage. Like I think if people seen the footage, maybe they might think differently. But I want to just say I'm human. When I say I'm human, that means I got feelings, joy, laughter, hate, angry, all those things. And humans normally behave like humans, you dig? Certain experiences can make things, it can make us numbness to certain things, you dig? And yeah, look, you ain't gonna have me laugh at nothing, and then something happens to me similar. Because I'm kind of putting myself out there too. Like I'm out there in public spaces, live. You feel me? Microphone right there. People see it. I try to hide it sometimes. People walk by, be looking. Yeah, so that's why I'm good. Like I'm not gonna be doing that. I ain't doing that, and I ain't having no drink because I'm not having no drink because these guys are not the problem. Like they are voices, but we got bigger problems than two people. You dig? There are like 200 million white folks, and at least 100 million of them think like that. You feel me? And act like that. So yeah, I'm just a little different the way I tackle things. Yeah, just and so and you guys know that I try to preach black excellence, right? Black excellence. That's what I try to preach and try to represent and try to have us like, you know, be who we used to be. Like at one point we were like the examples of the world of how a person, a man and woman is supposed to behave. We are going backwards. But again, it's because of a lot of a lot of us are coming to the knowledge that we're FBA, but we're bringing our prior biased beliefs with us. And we're kind of like low key, like selling it to each other. It's like, no, we're starting over. Okay. I mean, like you still can be those things, but we're starting over as far as how we talk to each other and what message we're going to give to each other. We're not bringing that gang. So, like, you got a lot of gang members, active gang members, who are finding out that the FBA and they're embracing it. But we're not going to let you bring that gang stuff here. Yeah, like in our space, you're not bringing that. So that's why I say certain things we'll talk about, certain things we shouldn't talk about because it's about galvanizing. Right? So when we talk about some things like, okay, how is this helping us get on code? And most of my titles are like with that consideration, like how is this helping us are hurting us. So there's a lot of things, family, I research, a lot of things I research that I never bring to the live. Because I'm like, because I see that this is my personal belief. If I bring it to the live, is it going to help galvanize us or cause confusion and division? I'm like, yeah, that is tough. Is controversial. Is sensitive amongst FBAs. Let me just leave it alone. You dig? Now I just leave it alone, and I focus on things that don't have us in a state of confusion or bickering, arguing. I leave those alone. Alone. I leave them alone. We need to be on code more. We're still having a hard time of supporting each other. You feel me? Um, yeah. We're having a hard time supporting each other, and we're just listen. Like there's something I want to say right now, but I just don't say it because again, it's like, it's like, hey, it ain't worth it. But all I'm saying is, step up, yeah, thinking, man. Thank you. Your thinking is it, it ain't there yet. Step it up because going cold is gonna, it's gonna get more deeper. It's gonna get more stricter. Right now, we're just galvanizing based off lineage, but at some point, we're gonna have these conversations. And y'all ain't gonna like being on the other side of that table. We're debating. Like I said, I can't wait to have this debate about the elders tomorrow, whatever that is. But somebody is up for teach me about the elders. But I'm telling you, man, like the thinking we have is still it's like savagery. Like really it is. Like we have to represent excellence. We're supposed to be the example of the world. Like don't we claim that? Well, let's be that example of how the world to conduct ourselves. Like behaving like a white supremacist, that ain't like that's kind of that's the rhetoric that Malcolm was doing. It's tit for tat. It's like nah, like we are really if you want to talk about superiority, shit, in actions and morality, we are the superior folks as far as morality. What we used to be. Now, there's a saying, hurt people hurt people. So certain people feel away because they just hurt and they're not dealing with it. They're not getting help. They're not taking their medicine. And they're waiting for an opportunity to hurt people when they get a chance. And at some point, it's going to become, it ain't going to be what you want. Because we are only 13% of the population. So if this is the way it's going to go, it's going to be more of us on that receiving end than the quote unquote them. All right. So this style ain't never work out for us in this country. So I'm a history buff and I'm just thinking like when did this style of handling disagreements work for us as a collective in this country? Yeah, we was always on the receiving end. We was never on the giving end of this. So it's like, nah, this ain't it. This ain't it. But do what you want. But I just can't allow that over here. I know what we're trying to do, and I know things like that. That type of talk that come off as oppish, setting us up, hoping us to fail. I don't know how a channel can grow talking like that. Like Tariq Nasheed don't do nothing near that, and he's look at this. Let me show you something. He has only 263,000 subscribers. Who can, yeah, I guarantee you, if you, okay, hold on. Okay, so if you can, if I was to have somebody guess how many subscribers you think Tariq Nasheed has, you would have never guessed 263,000. You would have never guessed that. You would have said 900,000, 2.5, something ridiculously large. Yeah, so obviously he's being shadow banned. And he don't say nothing crazy with the chat saying, but because people are sensitive, like you're on somebody else's platform, this ain't ours. They make the rules, and don't forget who we are. You did. We're FBA. They're trying to find reasons to derail us, to like sabotage us. Look at the IQ scores. I just pointed out something. I said they are setting us up for failure, and then when they get the desired result, they take that result and show it before the world. And say, look at these guys. These guys are inevitably stupid. They are. We're justified in prisons and this and harsh police over policing. So they use these behaviors to sabotage us, to justify sabotaging us. That's why Dr. King and them did the nonviolent movement, right? Because they understood if they reacted a certain way, that they would use that to justify gunning them down. So it's everything's about chess. Everything's a chess. It's all right. We're gonna use a nonviolent approach. We're gonna fake them out. We're gonna outflank them. So now, look, we got arms up. Like we got the arms up stance, right? Wasn't that a thing? Arms up. Like, hey, so you're gonna harm me while you're gonna violate me while my arms up? Okay, go ahead. Because that's not a good look for what you're trying to do globally. So they're trying to justify, wars, humanitarian, certain violations. They like, hey, wait, what? You trying to start a war because you said we broke the humanitarian violation? What you doing over there? And that's what Russia was doing in their papers. Russia had hella papers showing how they treated us. It was a horrible look for them globally. Like, who the hell wants to migrate over here with that going on? Who wants to immigrate over here with that going on? So it's a horrible look. So it's strategy and everything, family. Everything ain't just ooga booga. You slap me, I slap you back. Everything ain't that. Some things involves strategy. It has to be a better way. With 13% of population, but not 40%, 50%, 70%. With 13, that's really, really tiny. So you got to always think about that. We're tiny, tiny, tiny. So we got to work that to our advantage. There's certain things we just can't do with that small number. And then we're in no position of power at all. And we don't have the money. They stripped us of our money. So their strategies, right? So we like to big up people who we like, right? We say to Dr. Claude Anderson, well, get his opinion on this. What would he say? What would Dr. Claude Anderson say? So we can't cherry pick also, family. So look at this guy right here. He's a cherry picker. He tips the scale and then say, look where it's leaning. So gotta be careful. It's hard to resist, but families, it's easy. It's too easy to have no self-control. Remember what the callers that call in, they practice self resilience, self taught. They're self-taught. They know thyself. Defense for self-defense. They practice everything but the hardest thing to practice, which is self-control. That's part of controlling your emotions. Even though you want to fall out laughing, fall out crying, fall out cheering, fall out, sad and angry, you got to control it. It's the optics that matter. Even though you don't feel like that, you know what? Screw him, F him. I'm not going to express that before the world, because the world just see it as what you're supposed to see it as an unfortunate thing. So you put on that face, you put on that cloak. Hey man, that's what's up. But in private, whatever you want to do. But you gotta play chess, man. We're not in a position to be behaving certain ways. We're just not. And that's why I made this channel. It's like, nah, somebody gotta be a voice of that. Somebody gotta be the voice of reasoning. The voice of reason. So I say, let me be that. Let me try to be a strong influence with that. We're like, hey man, it's too easy to behave this way, but ain't a good look though because you're just the opposite version of what you claim you hate. So I want to say it now. Now I could be quiet. Now this ain't popular. This ain't a popular thought. This is risking support, going forward. But it's like, yo, what am I in here for? When am I here just to make people, feel good or am I here to like be impactful, make a difference? So I'm like, nah, like y'all don't nah, nah, nah. We should behave a certain way. But back to this right here, this is crazy because his numbers is like more than anybody that's like near this description. So he's being shadow banned. So again, it's not cool to be shadow banned because that means the message ain't reach as many people as it should. And that's slowing down progress. You feel me? So that's why I said, all right, let me take a different approach from Tariq. I'm funny. I'm FBA. All of us are funny. We all got a sense of humor. We got jokes. But I said, you know what? Let me play good cop, bad cop with them. Tariq is bad cop. I'm gonna be good cop. You feel me? And I want my listeners to accept that role that I'm choosing, and we're gonna go that way. Cause you still got, you still Tariq is still there. You feel me? He's still there. He ain't going nowhere. He's still there. So and whoever you listen to Yvette, she's still there. Whoever you listen to, they're still there. So it ain't like I'm the only option. So it's like, all right, let me check out unbiased Ron when I want to be serious and get to the facts, get to debunking and the serious stuff. And when I feel like laughing, let me go over here. That's all. I'm just trying to give you an alternative channel to watch for some serious stuff. You know what I mean? Some more serious, grown folk stuff. Here we go. Another world, wonderful world. I didn't time this person out for like 24 hours. They're back already. All right. What are they saying? Golden Brown says, we FB must have our own dialect. I agree with that. To block out all the groups of people that are cosplaying FBA clothes. Yeah, that would be cool if we can learn a language that's like kind of difficult to learn. Maybe like a dead language, bring that thing back alive. Mm. Yeah. So the two languages I was studying was Greek and Spanish. Obviously, Spanish is like more worldwide and well known. But because I was thinking like Golden Brown, like maybe I could study one of these languages that's like rarely spoken or hard to learn and convince us to get on board. Because I thought about some other languages, but those two seem like really easy to learn in like a real way. So Pinky Wells said we will never give out our numbers up, race mixing, lower birth rates, keeping level head is something I'm learning from you. Right? I'm telling you, Eli, I'm telling Ellie, listen. I'm saying, listen, I had to learn the wrong way. I am very you would never notice 'cause I don't you would never notice this about me because I don't present it right because I feel like it doesn't help me out. Um, but I'm very cocky, I'm very boastful. I got a humor. When it comes to sports, I'm very competitive. When it comes to just not just sports, any game like Taboo, I'm very good in Taboo. I'm very competitive. What's that new one I've been playing? The new one, it's a new game I just learned. I'm very good at already. But I'm very good at like games. I think I'm very smart and very witty, so I'm very good at like games. Of course, chess, thinking games. I'm really good at. Uh, and I'm very competitive. I don't like losing in nothing. So whatever I learn, I'm trying to be great in that thing. And as soon as I learn it, I ain't trying to wait to next week to be good. I'm trying to be good that day. And my relatives, my siblings can tell you, I pick up fast. Just one game they was playing. I'll find out tomorrow. It's like growing. Oh, I love the game. What's the sandbag game? You throw in the hole. Damn, I can't think of it. But I love that game. I bowled two perfect games in bowling. I'm very, very competitive, but you will never know that because I kind of like try to hide that from the public because that could turn some people off. So for me, I'm just saying for me, it's kind of hard to be humble and but I do it sometimes. You feel me? But in real life, when I'm competing, I never do it. So I'm saying like I'm trying to be better in the public. I'm trying to be sensitive in the public. You dig? Sympathetic in the public because I can really be the opposite. I could be dark and gloomy, but that's not attractive. You feel what I'm saying? So trying to, and again, I learned I got to a lot of fights because of being boastful, bragging. Shut up, you sorry. I learned that does not work. That don't appeal to people. People don't like that. You don't attract people. You lose. You burn bridges doing that. So as I got older, I learned. You know what? Maybe try. You know, playing basketball. Maybe try winning and clapping the opponents that lost hands. Talk to them because really, man, I'll be on demon time when I'm competing. You lose, man. Wait, don't talk to me because I be so in that moment. Like, man, talk to me when we leave this gym, bro. In this gym, don't talk nothing to me. We're still ops. Like I was on demon time like that, but I learned that just burn bridges, kill networking. So I tried, you know, talking to people, like smiling and not being so angry and kind of just like not taking a win so serious, not taking a loss so serious, and trying that in basketball, bowling, chess, and everything. I just gained so many friends, I changed my whole image. You feel me? Like overnight. Hey, stop. So I changed my whole image. And as a result, like in all those spaces, bowling, chess, basketball, I mean, listen, I could bring a camera. Like I'm like the main guy. Like, oh, what's up, Ron? Like everybody loves Ron now. Everybody used to hate me. Now everybody loves me because of self-image. You feel me? And looking in the mirror, looking at what does not work, with chase people. Stop. 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 Learning what behaviors chase people away, and looking like, wow, I don't want to make that person feel bad or sad or angry from something that's not that serious. You feel me? Just just looking in the mirror and like, do I want to be that guy? And overnight, I'm like, "Oh, I don't want to be that guy. I want to be the guy people love because I have that side of me too. I'm very sociable." So with that being said, when I read insensitive comments, I'm like, you do what you want to do, but I wouldn't advise that. Like I will advise some type of humanitarianism. You dig? Some type of morality. Not adapt, not because it's easy to adapt the ways of the people you claim you dislike. It's easy to adapt the ways of the behavior of people you claim you hate that behavior. And then the first chance you get, you're reflecting that behavior. So it's like, oh, the Sparrow Heights piece. So Alicia, thanks for sharing that. There's Tessa, that's one for sure. Okay, so somebody's going to languages. We got moves in the building. They're going to some languages. Said they're known as the tongues of the many Bantu nations of Al Buchanan, present day Africa. Oh, you got that from Al 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 Buchanan. That's a Dr. Ben. Golden Brown said they have shown FBA that they have us under oppression because they let the illegals immigrate through crime. But yeah. Golden Brown. That is the most craziest reality I had to come to grips. Like, wow, they really give illegal immigrants like immunity to like break every law in the world and do no times. Like, what? But we do the simplest crime. We're in jail for 25 years. And yesterday morning, I shown how they use illegal undocumented immigrants to replace us slowly and gentrify us slowly in our neighborhoods, worse than any white person could ever do. Okay. So just reading some more comments. Yeah, I learned empathy. I learned sympathy. I'm telling you, I was the worst, man. I didn't go to. I'm still not a funeral guy. I'm not a funeral guy at all. But I went to a few that I would have never went to. Dig, at one point because I had to think like it's not about me. It's not about it's not about me. I had to realize that it ain't about me. Sometimes about other people. Other people want to see you there. You feel me? So I had my reasons not to go, but I felt like, but other people would want to see me there for other reasons. So let me be more considerate. Let me not just always worry about how I feel. And I think it made me a better person to be real. I mean, you guys show up faithfully because of the changes I made from self reflection. I don't think you'd be here today if you knew me 15 years ago. You were like, "Yo, I like what you're saying, but I'm definitely not subscribing." Yes, that's life. Life hits you. But again, I looked at people like I used to always argue in the gym, and one day I sat back and realized I got no gym friends at all. So when you plan, you walk in, you see like side conversations, and I noticed that I'm never in a side conversation. Like damn, nobody like me here. I mean, that's not a good feeling. Aspiring heights, peace to you. So by the way, this little uh heart moment, this was not part of the live at all. I was supposed to do about Ben Shiro and reparation approach, show this anti FBA stuff from Jared Taylor, other white supremacists, and just hop off. But I felt like I'm not being real if I read the comments and then get off. Especially the comments I felt like they aren't cool. I said, nah, let me just let them know how I feel. Like, you do what you want. So you always come down to do what you want. But you ain't on trial. I ain't gonna judge you. But I don't you just look at again, like I had to look at consider other people's feelings. Like, okay, I'm not into funerals. Okay. But people just want to see you there. Like cousins, nephews, nieces, aunts, brothers, mothers. And I had to consider that. It's okay. It's bigger than me. So same thing about comments in the chat. You dig? Sometimes it's bigger than how you feel. It's about the overall look you're giving the lineage. And that's what I'm just, boiling it down to. When we behave a certain way in public, it literally comes down to is this giving the lineage a good look or a bad look? Is this black excellence for the lineage or not? Now, there is a time to do whatever old boy said, but he's justifying that the same way Jared Taylor is justifying oppressing us by these lopsided tests under favorable conditions for them and unfavorable conditions for us. What Golden Brown, you might want to put I don't know what book you have, but you might want to put it in if it's something they can buy, you might want to put it in the link and they could check it out and possibly buy it. So let me see what Aspiring Heights got. Let me click that link and let me go up. Where is the link for Let me see the other link. Yeah, now if Hebrew Nave is still here, I understand. Like most people, I mean, most of my subscribers, I believe, heard of Charlie Kirk through me because I would look through my archives. I got videos. I got 2 3 videos debunking him. So I'm well aware of what he taught and what he believed in. But like, do we really want to take it there? You dig? If you disagree with somebody, you deserve to be taken out like that. I mean, come on, like that's not setting a great precedent for strong beliefs. Because there's some people who strongly believe that our reparations push is going to jeopardize the American economy. So like they feel like, hey, pushing for reparations is going to cripple the country. Therefore, you know, it's anti-American. Like because they don't understand what we're doing, and then they could respond the way we think people should respond when they disagree vehemently. You dig? And then it'd be more Charlies out there. It's like nah, like no, no, no. We're gonna express that ain't the way to resolve harsh opinions about people. You dig? That is not the president we want to stand on. No, that's not gonna be a win for us. All right, we're in no position for that because some of us like really have, like I said, we have some issues where we're not taking our medication. We really believe in some. Oh, it's gonna be a race war. Like we believe in white supremacist rhetoric. Oh, this is time. This is time for race war. No, 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 no. If you believe like that, stay away from me. I know you're sick. All that race war talk. Anyway, let's read some more comments. And you know what? And this actually kept me up. Though reading those comments, 'cause I'm like shocked that we like kind of feel like that. It's like nah, like nah. And guess what? Some people would have encouraged you to encourage those comments, inflame and gaslighted you. You dig? No, I care about the lineage. I care about how you perceived in public and how you're condemned in public from. No, I want you guys to avoid all of the obstacles and traps that sit out there for us to fail even more. Like, no, 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 no. Like you guys got to see me on a job, man. I don't talk politics, religion, man. I'm like the perfect coworker. Like, hey, so Ron, what do you think about? Oh no, well, I don't know anything about that. Really? Yeah, I don't watch that, man. I go home, I just play chess, I just do this, do that, play basketball, and I'm right back at work. You dig? I don't fall for none of those traps. Like they think I'm the most unaware person in the world. I don't fall for none of those conversational traps to look, oh, he said this, and no, 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 not me. Matter of fact, I barely even talk to folks there. You dig at jobs. I just do my job better than anybody ever could do it, and I barely talk. But I don't try to be too weird. I have small conversations, but I always act like I'm on the phone, during break or I'm looking something up. So folks, don't leave me alone without looking too weird. You feel me? But they would not catch me in those conversations about politics and religion and voting and no, 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 no. Well, what do you think about Trump? What do you think about Trump? See, I'm gonna put it back on them. What do you think about Trump? Then, oh well, I think this and that. That. Oh, interesting. That's interesting. Okay, that's cool. I got it. So, Ron, what do you think about Trump? I don't think nothing about Trump, but what you thought was interesting. I'm thinking about that right now. You see, so I'm always like filibuster where it ain't never like that with me. Yeah, so I don't fall for those tricks. Let me read up. So Ellie said, I really think that the punishment is higher for us because they know who we used to be. I believe they were the moral compass of the earth. There is no morality without the Moors. He said, is why the world looks to us and punishes us harshly for our flaws. Songwriter says, I worked for NYSC for 7 years. You aren't missing anything in those gym combos. They're usually delirious and better kept private. At least if the world is watching, just told you that you will not be charged. So, Mood says there's power in the names we carry, Pinky Wells. Sometimes we wonder why we can't move forward with something. It's because there are principalities, powers associated with the names against us. Go and say, I'm that ninja, that exceptional ninja. That bullet probably came from, nah. See, songwriter, I ain't doing that. Well, you could do it. I'm not doing it. You don't get me into that. Golden said, I'm the one ninja in 10,000. You talking to somebody. Somebody got golden hot. What Pinky says, what has names to do with what I asked? No need to answer. I looked at your child. Okay, Aspiring Heights said, that's the way they be on a job. People will try to harm you, other people on the job. If you put, yeah. I don't fall for none of that. I don't fall for none of the. Oh yeah, I don't try to make no friends. By the way, hey, everybody's going out to get a beer. Ron, you coming? No, I'm never coming. Don't ever ask me again. You dig? Oh, now I'll do a job. If the job is hosting something, of course, because the job is paying for it. You know what I mean? I'll go. But anything off the clock with these people, no. Now, it's crazy because I keep in touch with somebody now from one of my jobs. Two people. So one dude off in Nora, Johnny, Filipino dude, like he just really liked me. You know, he just liked my conversations and all that type of stuff. So Johnny Filipino and the other brother, I'm not sure. I don't think he's FBA, but I think he's from the island, right? And he just another one who I ain't worked with Johnny since 2014, and every so often he'll text me. Oh, I know what it was. He was a big Pacquiao fan, and I was a big Mayweather fan. So we always talk boxing, but even then, I kept it political. I didn't get all crazy. I did in a break room get crazy because a white lion leader was downplaying Mayweather accomplishments in boxing to big up, oh man, Ricky Hatton would have beat him if Ricky hadn't make that mistake. So I'm like, oh my God. So I just snapped. And man, he looked at me like he wanted to shit throw a bottle upside my head, man. But it was getting too annoying. Like, all right, man, stop, bro. Boxing is about mistakes. Now Mayweather pushed him to that mistake. Start acting like Mayweather wins are all just lucky, and Ricky had would have won. It just pissed me off. But Johnny was a big Pacquiao fan. We always talk boxing, didn't for life, but never like politics and religion. But the Caribbean dude, we keep in touch. Same thing is crazy boxing. Now think about it, we kept in touch from boxing too. He just texted me earlier like about Canelo and Crawford. But normally I don't try to make friends on the job. Because I could be friends with you as coworkers, right? But when I say I'm not normally your friend off the job, just on the job, I'm your friend, and we're doing work. I'm not your, but it ain't deep. I'm not covering for you. You know what I mean? None of that ain't happening. But let's see. Picky Well says on the job, friends are okay. You just don't let them know too much. Exactly. Like I said, if they're on my friend, they're my friend only on the job because it makes your work easier. It lightens your load. You ain't got to worry about people sneaking up on you, watching you. I'm always breaking some rule. I'm on the phone. I'm doing something. Coming back from lunch late, break late. I'm doing something. You dig? And I don't need them to be dry snitching. So again, as a chess player, I act like we cool as hell while we're working together. But once they try to hook up after work, man, I'm gonna have 1,000 excuses why they ain't gonna happen. Needle Swain says, same here. No political talk. Yeah, at all, man. And it's mainly your white coworkers who gonna try to bring up that stuff. And again, I'll be acting clueless. Now I will talk football because that's goofy talk. You know, that's massive talk, talking sports. They don't believe nothing about us anything anyway, but we just into sports. So yeah, I'm on a plantation anyway, so I'm gonna do plantation talk. Yeah, man, those Giants, man. Yeah, man, those Packers. Yeah, man. Yeah, playing dumb on purpose. Yeah, but after work, I rarely keep in touch with those folks. Yeah, but what I advise, man, uh, so they responded. They said, "All right, bro, I'm actually tied up right now. If you can give me the time and number for tomorrow, I would appreciate it. Salute." Okay, well, I can't get a number, dude, because I won't know the number till I go live. Okay, so I just told them to reply to that comment board tomorrow 10 a.m. and I give them the number because I can't wait to hear this elder talk. Ellie says, I'm in the South down here. They group up behind closed doors to talk politics away from FBA. Yeah, you know, because they know that, well, we could trip. 'Cause, you know what I mean? We're most likely Democrat and probably anti-MAGA. So that ain't gonna work. So tomorrow morning, I will RA had gave me a link and I had a link of my own. So tomorrow, excuse me for coughing the mic, but tomorrow we will be covering some more diaspora wars because some stuff just came to my attention that's very disrespectful that I think you guys need to see. And we need to really galvanize over and give commentary about how we feel about these type of comments directed towards us. It's like really wild. Now everybody got louder with Crowder fatigue, Charlie Kirk fatigue, but that don't mean that can happen. Because again, the people who we love and share, what I mean, respect, like I'm sure they'll say they got Tariq Nasheed fatigue and Yvette fatigue, and and let's say if something happens, unfortunately, the last thing you want to see is people being insensitive all over the internet. That's what I'm trying to say. Like that's not the way. That's gonna make one of us to crash out. You know what I mean? So it's like that's, and just like it's gonna make one of them crash out. You feel me? So you gotta like really, really, you gotta really, really be considerate, man. Again, you don't have to be, but just ask yourself, what is this? Just ask yourself, are you, what is that doing for you and the lineage? Because it's too easy. It's too easy to behave a certain way. Like that's why I talked about self control. It's too easy to like not exercise self control, and it's very hard to, which you guys know, it's very hard to exercise self control. Feel me? So I'd rather do the hard work, the real hard work, and exercise self control and not behave the way people thought I was going to behave from hearing this unfortunate news. I'm always sad when I hear about like people passing away anyway. Like that was never like a word and do like a little laugh. Nah, I don't get nah. Like you gotta really be doing some stuff. You did. You gotta really be doing some stuff. Like you gotta be the person who's actually passing the law. You gotta be the person who's actually rejecting. I mean, like you are rejecting reparations. Like you gotta be in those positions for me to have some type of mother. You know what I mean? But just random people, nah. I'm telling you, you get in that space, it's hard to get out of it. You get in that mood, it's hard to get out of it. And the rest will be beefing up their security. Yeah, Tasha D said Nick, Candace, but not just them. Like, what you think Tarina she gonna do? What you think Yvette gonna do? Anybody who is saying something that can potentially rev people up to believe your message is harming and is harmful and divisive. Everybody should be beefing up security. Like bullets just don't have names for conservatives. You dig? Everybody who is saying something that other folks find disrespectful, divisive, and all those fancy words, they all should be beefing up security. But let me say this though. When it came to Charlie, there's nothing, if y'all watch that video, which I don't recommend you do, there's nothing a security guard could have done for him. Okay? When a sniper got you in their scope, what could somebody do for you? Nothing. It ain't like somebody ran that. When I heard it, I thought somebody ran up on him. Now when I seen that video, I said, wow, okay, this is some other shit right here. This some President, Robert Kennedy type shit. This is different. Like people went another way. This is what they tried to do to Trump. It's like, okay, now this ain't even with them happening to Trump, people laughing. I ain't find that shit serious funny. I'm like, nah, hell no. That could be potentially meaner, right? You know what I mean? Like just imagine, look, there's 62 people watching right now. What if I had 6,000 or 60,000 people watching? That means I'm a household name. You feel me? At that point. And somebody can really feel that way towards me and what I'm saying. And I become the hashtag. No, that's what I'm saying. No, I'm against that. Hell no. Cause I see that being me in the future. Like the support I'm getting now, like the family really supporting and showing up. And if with that trajectory, if that support keep happening, that 60 watching is going to turn to 6,000. It's going to turn to 600, and then to 6,000, and then to maybe 60,000. You feel me? And by that time, I'm going to be worldwide known. 60 to 60,000, live views. And I'm not saying some lollipop stuff. You dig? I'm saying things that people will find offense to. They shouldn't, because it's facts. But I might not say it in the most, receiving way, the most delicate way. So I can understand people feeling a certain way by the way I said it and what I said. So I'm like, hell no, I ain't about to be just, saying, yeah, hell no, that's me in the future. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like you got if folks that don't never folks that's too scared to defend their folks and get out there and speak about sensible stuff in front of, you know what I mean? Yeah, like you ain't got to worry about that. But people like me that's not afraid to get out in front of people and talk and debate in real time in real life, hell no. That's like, oh no, I'm a debater, and my goal is for myself to debate in public on the stage. But shit like that happening, hell no. I'm gonna stay my ass on the computer. We gonna debate. We gonna debate on Zoom forever now. I ain't debating nobody in person now. I ain't, yeah. That kiss any dream of me debating in public or pulling up on people debating. Hell no, it'll only be on Zoom, and you could kiss that shit goodbye. I'm a Zoom debater permanently now. Yeah, Nito Swain ain't say nothing wrong, and most of y'all ain't saying nothing wrong. So like when y'all say things, it's not like you saying something wrong. Like what y'all saying is kind of right, but just because it's right, it don't mean that it should be said in certain, situations. And I learned that too. I learned the hard way. I also learned this, family. I learned just because you write doesn't mean it has to be expressed in words. And like that could go for you and your kids, you and your significant other, you and your boss, you and that police officer, you and that stranger in the streets. I'm saying I learned that the hard way. Just because I'm right, it doesn't mean I gotta express it. Because a lot of times being right and expressing it ain't gonna change nothing because that person already think you're wrong. So now all that leaves now is it going left. Hope y'all heard that. Just because you're right, it doesn't mean you need to express it, especially to people who don't give a damn if you're right, because you're wrong anyway. You dig to them. So if that's their attitude and you expressing you're right anyway, knowing they're not gonna receive it, at that point it can only go left. You dig? And if you know that as a possible reaction, then you got to be prepared for anything at that point. So hold on. Let me. At that point, you got to be prepared for anything. It's like I said, tomorrow I'm gonna get back into diaspora wars. I got some cool videos that we need to pick apart, assess. Yeah. So Bantu said he's seen it. Carlos said only the Most High. Songwriters, I'm neutral. I don't see color. I just don't believe you're going to do certain things that shouldn't have to be on public display. Those were innocent people who had to suffer. Others coming out the side. Yeah, that's crazy, man. My son, who said that? I'm trying to catch that comment. Ellie said, "My son showed me the video. I heard it hurt me that he saw it. We didn't see. Nah. Yeah. I wouldn't ever. Your son should never. Yeah, listen. If you see, for me, I used to watch. You remember those dumbass VHSs, Faces of Death, or banned from TV? I used to watch that stuff, and like, and people, and I seen like people die. I realized that didn't bother me, so I'm like, okay, I'm different. It did not in a good way because that didn't bother me. So that's why I knew like this video. Now it's worse than what I thought it would be. So it did. I ain't gonna lie, it did bother me a little bit. Now I thought it wouldn't bother me at all because, like I said, I will watch stuff where people die and it didn't bother me. This one, this one bothered me because I didn't expect it to be that gruesome. So this one actually, and like that graphic, I didn't expect it to be that clear. You feel me? That shit graphic, clear, gruesome, all that. I didn't expect none of that. So it did bother me. And that's why I'm like rejecting like certain comments, like, no, nah, hell no. Like y'all didn't see the video. If you did see the video and that's your response, yeah, then you on demon time for real, for real. I gotta watch out for you. Yeah, but yeah, that shit was crazy, man. I kind of wish I didn't see it now. Yeah, so this video ain't for everybody, man. If you're not already because like they say certain police officers, they go to certain crime scenes and that shit they be traumatic, like car accidents and things like that. That should be like too traumatic for them. They can't recover. I mean, so that video is not for everybody, man. Like your sanity is on the line watching that bull. Let me see. Best score never bothered me much either. Yes, I was high. My sister sent me the video. He said best gore. Yeah. Remain silent, not our business. Yeah, like I said, it ain't like I can't even say certain stuff on the net on YouTube because the goal is to grow, right? Not trying to be stuck at 57 lives watching. I'm trying to get to 5,700, 570. So, you gotta just be careful how you maneuver and what you say and what you Bantu said brought his hide down. That his widow is a single mom. Yeah, exactly. I haven't seen it yet. I'm telling you, listen, I wouldn't be in a rush to see it. Like if you're not built mentally, if you're it, the best way I can express it is if it doesn't bother you in the past, then it probably wouldn't bother you that much now, but it is gonna be more gruesome, gross than what you think it is. Okay. If you get a clear one, it's gonna be bad, man. I'm telling you, it could traumatize some people. Like I don't feel good. Like I wish I didn't watch it, but like stuff like that normally don't bother me, so that's why I watched it. But hey, maybe I dream about it, and I hate that. Uh, songs that I can't watch stuff like that because my photographic memory can turn on me, and years later I would see. Yeah. I'm telling you, man, like that video ain't for everybody. Peace, Jesse. The JFK video was a lot worse. Yeah, I'd never seen like I seen a JFK video, but I never seen like a good one. Like I just seen, yeah, I never seen a good like uncensored where it showed things. Like I just seen like a fuzzy video. I never seen a clear video of the JFK one. You got Aki Betha in the building. Yeah, and joke. So when people like be careful what you downplay, man. Cause everybody's gonna face death. You dig? And but nobody knows how they're gonna go out. And a lot of us hopefully, we think we're gonna go out old age, but man, some are gonna suffer an untimely death. And who wants that? Who wants that? So I was supposed to have been off. That's why came on early. But I felt like this was therapeutic. I felt like I had to share this with you guys. Like I really did. I really feel like I had to share my true feelings on how we should not make light of what just happened just because we disagree and he says some unfavorable things. You dig? Now when he start kidnapping and physically, putting hands on people, then I could see, certain reactions. But a guy just setting up a booth debating and nah, because that could be me. That can be you. Because keep in mind, how you feel about him is subjective. Okay, people feel the opposite about him. So based on what he said, you feel a certain way in a negative sense. But the same thing he said, the same words he said, there's people on the opposite side feel like oh my God, yeah, I couldn't put it in a better sentence than you. Oh my God, you worded it perfectly. You dig? So it's subjective. So vice versa. We could be saying something we believe is the truth. But the other side feels the other way. Like, hell no, that hurts my heart. You're anti-American. And then as you know, you are a hashtag. And now people are being insensitive about you and what happened to you. That's I'm like, nah. Because for people who speak up for us that we respect in this space, Like think about all the people we keep naming. Some people say Millie Fuller, some people say Dr. Cress Welsing, some people say other folks, Dr. Ben. Just stop being selfish for one moment and look in the mirror. What happens if they're lecturing the truth that you think that they know, and that happens to them, and then the internet is like trolling and yeah, man, all that woke stuff. You feel me? Like that's gonna hurt. That's gonna hurt. That's not gonna be something. Yeah. So vice versa. It's like I'm like, yeah, I don't even want to take it there where it's getting like that because then you're encouraging it to happen to somebody else so people can feel better. You feel me? Nah, you don't want to start that. I'm telling you, you don't want to start that. That's how those gang wars started. That's how gang wars started. Somebody dies instead of mourning the other side like smoking a pack. So it desensitizes you to, the other side. So then the other side wanna brag and have fun and smoke a pack. So they return the favor, and then here we go. Gotta be careful. Yeah, you gotta be careful, man. We're just this should be our response. We're thankful that it wasn't one of ours. We're thankful that ours usually go out, either some type of sickness or old age, natural death. You feel me? That's all you can ask for. But to be assassinated in 2025 because of what you stand on, that's quite extreme, man. Very, very savage. And you don't want to set that precedent, man. You don't want to do that. That you act like you do until it's one of yours. And all of a sudden, it's can we all get along? It's like, nah, too late. It started. We got Impress La Test in the building. So you're right. Some of us not even going to watch that video. From what I can hear, I can't believe it's on TV. Yeah, that's crazy. CRU, D1 fan, what do you think about this situation? I stay ready. Ain't no ready. If you see how he got it, ain't no ready. Somebody got him with a snipe with a scope. You feel me? Who is ready to be sniped? Nobody. Ain't nobody run up on him like I thought. When I heard the news and there was video, I was expecting to see somebody from the crowd run up on him and get lucky, or somebody he's debating just whip out on him. I was not expecting to see what I think it is a real life assassination. Like that was crazy. Yeah, you can't be ready for that. And that's what I'm trying to say. I'm not cheering that on. Because anybody can be assassinated. Like a lot of people hate a lot of us, especially those who win. Like Jay-Z. Can you imagine like that's Jay-Z or Beyonce? Can she's performing? That's what I'm trying to say. Like you gotta be careful of what we gloat and bring into what we give energy to. Can you imagine Beyonce performing and that happens to her? Like, and then this video, like, and then people like, yeah, all that woke shit. You know what I mean? Nah, like you don't want that. It's all good till it's yours, and then it's too late. Nah. But we gonna learn. CRU said, I don't think it was a sniper. It was a pistol from close, not far away. That's not what I seen. But our eyes. I understand. I'm not an expert. I could be wrong, but it just looked like somebody. I don't believe no pistol got that no aim like that. But again, that's just my belief. We're gonna learn because they got somebody in custody right now. Matter of fact, let me look at it. So officials give update on fatal shooting of them. Okay, so let me see. Okay, I don't want to play no I don't want to play no audio. I'm gonna get okay, good. That's no audio. All right, so let me see what we got here. Okay, so I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna read what they got. Breaking news: authorities are holding a press conference on a horrific shooting, and the leading of a conservative activist. We're working in unison with the sheriff. I'm reading the latest. Fully engaged. So they're just saying they're working together with different police. So they have a suspect in custody. His name is George Zim, but he was released from custody after we identified that he did not match the shooting suspect. Okay. And was not an accurate person of interest. All right. However, he has been booked into the county jail by Utah Valley University Police Department for obstructing of justice. We do still have an active investigation for the person of interest. This incident occurred with a large crowd around. There was one shot fired and one victim. While the suspect is at large, we believe this was a target attack towards one individual. This is a tragic moment in our state and in our country. As we held, we encourage everyone who's struggling, blah, 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 blah. They partnered with the FBI. They're looking for tips. Now, here's another reason why I believe this is assassin sniper. Because if it's in a crowd, how is that person not caught? Like, so we're like that wouldn't make any sense to me as I looked at it. If it's in a crowd, how the hell do they shoot and leave and nobody is tracking them? Like, I don't make any sense. But somebody with a sniper, they usually hit you. Nobody know where they at. So it's easy for them to get up, pack up, and go. I just can't see somebody from the crowd carrying that out and nobody is looking at them. Nobody, you know, but that could be true. It's possible they ran from them, but nobody see the dude running. That's my thing. You're in a crowd and you do it. So you're near somebody, and now you're running. No, I mean, how do you get away? I don't know about that one. Okay, let me see if there's gonna be. So I'm still reading. So I'm still reading. I want to see what they think, sniper or not. But then I thought about also to go against my argument, like where would a sniper set up at that he's not in plain that he's not playing that he's not in plain sight. So yeah, so it could be either one. I'm like, where would a sniper set up at that nobody knows he's there? You feel me? So that could favor somebody in the audience shooting. Or somebody, yeah, like you gotta have great aim. Like where you gotta have great aim for that one. Okay, so that didn't really say much. Oh, it is. What do you guys think? But Carlos Maggis says, as an Army veteran, sniper is one of the few things that legitimately scare me. Yeah, I'm telling you this, but I mean, CRU could be right. The that was Precision Man Band 2, and but it could be see the reason why CRU I think was a sniper for one is one shot. So a handgun, I mean, who can hold a hand? Like even police officers can't hold a handgun and hit somebody like guaranteed. You dig? In one shot. That's why I have to go with sniper because the handgun, who is that confident in their aim that I'm gonna get this one shot off and one shot off is gonna do the damage. Like that's why cops shoot more times than one. I like okay, if it was one, there's no way a random. I just don't believe a random guy in the crowd with no sniper qualities, no training, no bullseye type qualities can just be that confident in one shot. That's all it takes. Like I just don't believe that, especially if it was premeditated, like everybody's saying it is. So you'll trust in your aim. Like you think your aim that good as a regular person with a gun. A Second Amendment, you know, supporter. You that person that had the gun. Do you really believe they believe in their aim that much? They say I got a handgun. I'm gonna shoot one shot, and I'm confident I'm gonna hit him. That's what's like tripping me out. I think he said that maybe an immigrant. Oh man, they better hope it's not. They are, man. I know immigrants got their fingers crossed. Like, man, we hope it's not one of us. Oh, you best to believe if it's an immigrant, all that 14th Amendment, that debate gonna be over. All the other stuff they were debating, that thing is over. They are done. They are done. Man, immigrants are got their fingers crossed. Like, man, we hope that's not one of us. Because we are done. Okay. Kurt. Let me see. Hey, my man, cuss. Hey, Golden. Golden, brother, you've been on Crash Out watch for a minute now, a couple of lives. Okay, so some of you guys in the chat, you really already had a problem. You're just waiting for an excuse to act like a fool in the chat. Okay, and a lot of you guys waiting for an excuse. You guys really never supported me like other folks. So you dig. So it's like Donnie been here since day one. So all you, I mean, you new people I barely know, never cash chat, never super chat. And y'all got a naughty mouth. Like it's like, yo, like really, like, you know what I mean? Like really, really. This dude cussed me out on my free speech. He says, Ronnie, babe, what the F are you now? I don't deserve to be talked like that. Okay. I don't talk to none of y'all like that. Okay. So let's establish something. I don't deserve to be talked to like this. Ronnie FBA, What the F are you talking about? Now, this dude is clearly drunk. And a couple of times I joke with him, like, yo, because he been like wild out in the chat. I'm like, yo, Golden, you drunk? Because he'll behave like this on a normal. And maybe he is drunk. He'd be like unprovoked. Everybody's just chilling right now. And here you go. Ronnie B, what the F are you like? This is fake coon outrage. Ron FBA, what the F are you talking about? Didn't they kill Martin Luther King in public? Didn't they kill Malcolm X in public? So what are you talking about, Ron? Dude, matter of fact, I'm gonna get a link. Okay. This fake outrage, I'm gonna call you bluff. If you don't call it, I'm blocking you, bro. Okay, because I'm tired of you with your fake outrage. Okay. What does Malcolm X and Martin Luther King assassins got to do? First of all, I know you don't know more about me than about Malcolm's situation. About Malcolm, I know you don't. Okay, so Golden, this is for you. Okay, because some of you guys, we don't know who you are. You never called in. You probably got an accent. You probably a white boy. Like I give everybody the benefit of the doubt. Your FBA because you said so, but we really don't know. You feel me? You don't know. But there you go, right there. Hit that Zoom link. Let me hear this analogy with Dr. King and Malcolm X. First of all, their two situations, how they got assassinated, were totally different from each other. Malcolm X was assassinated by people based off religious views because of what he said about Elijah Muhammad, and the FBI made sure that happened. You dig? But it was definitely black people who pulled the trigger on Malcolm X. It had everything to do with the whole Elijah Muhammad whole thing, right? That's how that beef started. Um, Dr. King, that was more politically. That was clearly political. Like racist white folks did not want to see him push this civil rights movement, did not want to see him successful with the civil rights march, so they assassinated him. But Dr. King assassination is 100% different than Malcolm X assassination. They had nothing to do with each other. But yeah, listen, man, I'm gonna tell you flat out. This channel, we're gonna exercise respect both ways. If I don't cuss you out or get, sarcastic, facetious, and all the cynical, all these little fancy words, if I don't do that to you, I ain't cussing you out. You don't do it to me. All right? Because I'm just gonna block you and keep it moving. And guess what? I'm gonna block you. You're one person, 1 out of 43 million. You'll be fine. I'll be fine. The channel will keep going. The channel will keep growing, and family going to still love and appreciate what we're doing over here. But I definitely am not going to accept nobody flat out flipping out for no reason. This dude just interjected Dr. King and Malcolm X in the conversation. We said nothing about those two men. We had lives already about Dr. King and Malcolm X. You didn't chip in. You didn't call in and click a link. We're talking about what we're talking. We're talking about the topic. This guy gonna bring up Dr. King and Malcolm X with this fake coon outrage and try to cuss me out in the low. Like I said, he's always been on Crash Out Watch. Cause now I don't say anything for the sake of the lineage. Like I said, I don't want to cause division or you know what I mean. So I do stuff. I go along to get along for most of the part. But I read certain comments. They be little suspect from certain people, not just him. Other folks see too. I see certain comments, little suspect people come in debating. Look at Shah's son. I finally blocked Shah's son today, but he's always coming in the chat with negative energy, and I never block him because he's supposedly FBA. So I kind of like, I'm on some old galvanizing the lineage and getting along, and based off what we have that commonality. But people got this fake outrage, and to me, they just agents waiting for the right time. So we got Donnie Wills in the building, super chat. Good old, he says, hold on. He said, man, move out the way. I got this thing blocked. Okay. He says, good old FBA American, apple pie Chevrolet. Peace to you. Thank you, bro. Appreciate it. Definitely appreciate it. Yeah, but yeah, man, the fake coon outrage got to stop. Like I said, it's coming off as like agent stuff, like people waiting for the right opportunity to mess it all up. Like what we got going, all the momentum, all the successful lives we had. Okay, let me wait till now to try to undermine unbiased Ron and fake a narrative and insert Dr. King and Malcolm X in something that has nothing to do with them at all. This whole lie been about white supremacy. Every video I played was about white supremacy. I got videos of the diaspora where I'm going to play tomorrow separate from this one, purposely. I wanted the focus to be on white supremacy, but that don't mean we got to be cussing white supremacists out. We can talk about white supremacy in a sophisticated, formal way. It don't always got to be a cuss out, emotional rant. Yeah. Where's my phone? So my phone was never charging. Wow. Yes, everybody crashing out. I mean, maybe it's too late. It's too late in the night. People on crash out edge. Yeah, but gotta relax, man. I'm giving my opinion on how my man was hit. Who was it? CRU explains differently. She believes it happened this way. I just gave a disclaimer. I'm not an expert. Like she could be 100% right. I'm not an expert. It just I'm giving you the best that I got, baby. I'm just giving you the best that I got from what I seen. And again, not an expert at all. Like I'm probably wrong. They just said they had no real details. So if they don't got details, how the hell do I got details? I'm just giving you the best that I got. You dig? Empress Latte said they are going from room to room, black space, crashing out. And like I said, like all the crash out and being insensitive in these spaces, like why would you want to like what's that gonna spark? That's gonna spark like again, that's just to me, that's just immature. So what's that gonna spark? That's gonna spark some crazy white supremacists crash out in a black space in real life. Then what? Based off people drunk insensitive words. Now what? Are you gonna hold yourself responsible and accountable for a white dumb out crash out on FBAs? No, that's why I try to be very careful. There's a lot of topics, family, I would love to cover, but I just believe we're not ready right now. It'll cause more division than unity. That's the Adam $2 super chat says white supremacy is a pain. I'm not gonna read the whole thing. He says white supremacy is a pain. Yeah, but if we're in spaces like gaslighting and I don't think that's just the right way. Like I said, if Beyonce's at a concert dancing, you dig, and she get hit, and yeah, I mean, and white supremacists is like cheering and like, how would we feel? You feel me? Like that is how I just look at it. So I don't want to encourage a white supremacist to crash out. Cause hurt people hurt people. They hurt. They're like, all right, well, let's hurt FBAs. Next concert, Beyonce, Chris Brown, they do. Okay. Outside, all right, I got you. We're gonna deliver pain back on you. Watch this. Uh, all right. So anyway, family, man, I appreciate y'all for hanging in this long. I believe some of y'all feel like me, just you're just quiet. But I don't think everybody, because there's 43 million of us, we all don't feel the same about everything. It's like some of us say, hey man, it was a regular guy in the crowd with a pistol. Some of us say, I don't know, man, it's giving sniper vibes. Neither one of us really know. We're just giving our best assessment by what we see. You feel me? And what we know. But that's the beauty of us. Like we can look at one thing without all the evidence and make premature assessments. Yeah, but I'm trying to get out of this. I'm trying to get out of this behavior that some of us are embracing where we're like, because listen, it's given like gang gang type of vibes. Cause that's what the gang members do. And we know that they are very degenerate in their actions. Like they just, murdering each other, making songs and cheering them about it. So to me, that just gives like gang vibes. You dig? Like little kid gang vibes. That's killing each other, making songs and bragging about it, laughing and dancing, and look how it works out for them. They end up getting it. You know what I mean? Julio was known for making videos and being insensitive about the folks he beat with deaths. So much so that like he did that so often where he drew so much hate from the ops that they were willing to travel to get this guy, do a whole huge conspiracy. Like he touched that many people in a negative way, where they was going to do whatever they could to make sure he felt the pain that he dished out. Got to be careful. Maybe you should have me. Golden Brown. Who are you talking to? First of all, who are you talking to before I jump out the window? And go to bed, bro. If it's me, just go to bed, man. Just go to bed. Like, and tune in, you got the right to close this out and tune in somewhere else. If you don't appreciate the content tonight, you have the right to say, you know what? Right now, I don't like what Unbiased Ron is talking about. Let me tune in somewhere else and check them out in the morning when you go into the diaspora wars. Maybe that's more entertaining for you. Some of us see what I do as entertainment plus information, and some just see it as information, and some just see it as entertainment. They don't take it serious at all, just pure entertainment. And they just laugh, joke about the content, and they move on with their lives. I can't tell you who does what. Yeah, but we're growing. We're growing. We're a lineage who's getting it together. We're a lineage who's just getting it together. You feel me? That's why I say we ain't on trial. I ain't judging nobody. As long as we're respectful, like we could disagree in respect. Just because we disagree, it don't gotta be a fallout. It don't gotta be a crash out. It don't gotta be a disrespectful thing that some folks are exercising in the chat. It can be a cordial, professional fallout, disagreement. I damn sure might be arguing about Charlie Kirk. But most of my videos are debunking him. But not most, but I got videos debunking him because he spread it. You know, he spreads anti FBA information. Fallout 5 dropping in 2026. Hey, bro, you might want to elaborate on Bill HR 40. For some people, they just see that as just a name, acronym, and a number. So maybe you want to explain a little bit in the chat. You know, what you mean by Bill HR 40, so some of the chat folks can understand what you mean. Yeah, but for us, I have he was never supposed to be part of my topic. But I just felt weird to talk about Ben Shapiro reparation stance and not mention old boy when the whole world is. I just felt like you guys be like, yo, unbiased Ron, you are out of touch with life. So I threw in the topic, but I shouldn't have done that because once I threw in the topic, I start to have issues online, like on the my live feed. So I took him out the topic.